Love that. Love that sound. Welcome to episode 100 of the Politically Correctly Podcast. Look at everybody. Come on out. I appreciate everybody coming. Thank you. We're going to have Dave coming out. Thank you so much. Everybody here was able to join us during our in-person celebration. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out. Shout out, Gino, for the drink. Shout out to, again, I got to say, shout out to Frank, the owner of Russo's in North Greece, for the special pizza that he made for us today with the 100th episode. Thank you guys. I want to
donuts.
The Donuts Delight, the best wings in the world at Windjammers.
Yes. Wonderful
yes,
food.
Thank everybody.
The Michelle Casilla for rounding him up and getting this all together for us and everybody else.
Thank you guys so much for coming in. For being a part of our growth here on our 100th episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey,
I just show up.
Make sure.
I just show up, man.
I just here for decorational purposes.
That's it. You need a little.
You guys are definitely more than welcome to stay and listen in and be here if you want. I mean, we only have kind of 1, 2, 3 chairs, but just want to make sure I said thank you very much for being here in person. Thank you. Dave, you're going to stay here, right? All right.
Oh, right.
We got a chair for you right over there.
Absolutely.
When you're ready. Thank you guys again. Yes. Oh,
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Oh,
should we open it in front of people?
Thank you so much. Yes, we should.
Okay.
We should.
And a cake.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
God is great.
I'll make sure Edna
give us some chocolate cake.
my sister wants her own cake. And if you guys remember, this is my nephew that was on one of the episodes. Make sure you check out the nephew and son that came on the episode. That's another. You guys
can we open our gifts now? Because I don't
point.
like to wait for I like to see what I got
Jumping
before
in. Go ahead.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, everybody's gonna have to wait. We got a marshmallow rainbow twist. Yeah, wait, hold on.
That's gay. That's very gay. Oh, but now this is nice.
Let me get this out of the way here.
Now look at this. Hold on. I like a nice little t-shirt.
I like grunt style.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is why.
Thank you, Michelle.
This is why it's always good to be good to people and know good people. And
that's awesome. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
You can hold this up, and the Veterans Outreach Center is doing a fundraiser. And if you make a donation of a certain amount, you'll get.
Yeah, the Iron Smoke.
Yes.
Their 50th anniversary, limited edition bourbon.
Nice.
They're not ready yet.
That's all right.
So it's on its way.
Awesome. Veterans Outreach Center. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary. Go on there, and if you donate, I think it's like $75 or something like that. $65. They'll send you they'll have a bottle of Iron Smoke bourbon for you.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's on its way.
Look at that. Shout out to everybody. We're gonna have to get VOC on here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank. You really waiting for a piece of cake? Oh, thanks. I thought my sister was waiting for a piece of cake. We're going to have you sit right over there. Dave's going to join our podcast in a little bit. Let's start. Actually, oh, man, before I even jumped into that. Oh, man. All right.
Niece in the oven? Yeah. Oh, shoot.
My sister is pregnant.
Congratulations.
We got I'm going to have a niece coming in on the way.
Good luck, because
I'm telling her.
Different animal, boy.
She has already said she's going to make sure that the child is not vaccinated with all the nonsense. I told her don't even allow them to give the baby a social security number.
Yeah, here you go.
You can do that.
Upping it up.
It is a decision.
I didn't know that. That's news.
Yeah, you can. I told her all you got to do is create a DBA and the name that you want, and you can create an EIN. And that way the baby never has to, or the child never has to pay taxes.
Nice.
Into Social Security. But then they'll never receive Social Security income when they retire. But I really don't think we're going to get that anyways.
I don't think you're going to have it anyway.
Right.
We'll be dried up by that
time.
I
would not be concerned. It's non-binary.
Non-binary.
No, our babies are binary in this family.
Shout out to the Rainbow Coalition for the unicorn. Also,
yeah. Thank you guys. Love you. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Family love.
All right. Welcome to Politically Correcting Podcast again, the 100th episode with me, the Jose P, along with my co-host Lavelle Lewis.
Jizia.
Austin on the ones and twos.
Hello.
And we are your weekly dose of common sense. Let's toast to our ability to share a drink with friends, have open and honest dialogue, and always striving to walk away still being friends. Salud.
Salud.
Salud. Oh, yeah, that's so good.
Jeez.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a gift from Gino right there. I gotta introduce our guest. He's gonna be coming on at some point. Jump in there.
Oh, yeah.
Dave
The seats are
McCleary.
all you.
Once he comes on, once Austin hooks him up. Actually, let's jump into the video of the week. Once we come back from the video of the week, I'll make sure that we get him on the camera and everything, and make sure he's all settled in.
Yeah, get comfortable. You in the hot seat now.
Here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
You got the here's your headphones right there. Sorry, everything's being thrown together now because we were out there celebrating. Look what happened here in Philadelphia.
Why she sound like she's laughing?
I don't know why.
She's literally laughing. Wow. You said this is Philadelphia?
Philadelphia. They are going crazy over there. I guess something happened down there where someone got shot. I was not aware of this. Wow. And the entire city is ransacking, rioting, pillaging.
Must be an election year.
Protesting. Yeah. It's amazing the timing. It's amazing the timing.
Always,
very
right?
clear.
It happens every time.
Yeah, that's sad. Why do you have that picture up as our logo? Jeez.
Homage,
Because
bro.
Paying homage. All right,
Paying
fine.
homage. You know that's
There's so much stuff around here.
When that came out, bro, that was really, one of the times where it was super LGBTQ. And that logo was right on time for that.
That's actually, I'm not gonna lie, that's one of my favorite logos.
Yeah, and it kept us away from the fray, like, you know what I mean? And we had Chase come on the show.
Chase was on. That's when
he is the honorable gay guy. He is the honorable. He's like the gay president of Rochester.
Now he's in Indianapolis now.
Oh, he left?
Yeah, he got a job offer somewhere else.
Oh,
shout out to Chase. How?
Being gay down there in Indianapolis, pretty sure. Shout out to Chase.
I don't think that changes depending on the zip code.
You think?
I don't think so.
Hey, what did J. Cole say? Even make a gay
gay man reconsider?
Yeah. Even gay
I got the rap lyrics for you, all right?
There you go.
Make a gay man reconsider. That is actually I don't listen to J. Cole very much at all.
No. That album was great.
I'm gonna take your word for it. I keep hearing that it is.
It's a really good album. But you gotta, he does get a little far leftish sometimes. But it's all right.
Hey,
he means well.
But the thing is, as you can be far left as long as you're able to have a genuine conversation with the other side and not have to attack them just because they simply do not believe in the same things you believe in. And that to me is the signs of the times today, is that people can literally just hate you. Do you see that? Our post today, if you haven't seen the post from earlier, someone thought that we're actually going to have him on the podcast. I'm sorry for the wording. It wasn't that we're going to have him on a podcast. We were just going to discuss him.
We would never.
I would never have that guy. I would never give that guy the time of day. He is the most despicable. I'm sorry, but I've never even met a person who would be like that.
Did we show it up to the audience? Did they know what we're talking about?
If you don't know, make sure you're following the Politically Correct Podcast page. Oh, we got our guest on the show now.
I'm here.
Mr. Dave McCleary here from Minority Reporter. Thank you so much for joining in on us and coming in and celebrating with us.
Mm-hmm. It's my pleasure. Well, I figure nothing better for the newspaper industry than controversy.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's not how I see it. That's how he sees it. That was not me that said it. It was Dave. I think that this is good.
I had to give you a jab.
No, I love it. I love it because you're absolutely right. I think that there needs to be a trigger for people to have conversations these days. And sometimes it takes this right here. People who, normally would not be on, a microphone speaking with each other, going live and having conversations where sometimes you have, tough conversations. Sometimes you don't see eye to eye. Sometimes you do. I think that shows where we can be in America when we can have those types of conversations openly and, you know, not be so animalistic against each other, or, you know, where it's just like heads butting all the time. It just seems our politics have gotten to the point where you have to destroy the other person in order to get your point across. And we've had quite a few conversations. I've had conversations with the people that work for you, and actually Shanique Bird has been on the podcast before. If you haven't seen that podcast, go check it out. She was here like a year ago, year and a half
she
ago?
was early in the within my time being on the show. It was a while ago. Definitely. I think it was it not too, it was before the election, right?
It was before the election. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I'm sure we can bring her back on.
Yeah, it was definitely after.
Oh, she would love to come on and talk shit.
It was definitely after the article she wrote about me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's when it was. Absolutely. I remember that. Didn't she call you like a short bite-sized something?
Pint-sized
PO.
Yeah. She liked to send shots.
That's all right. If there's any person that could take it, it's me. I can take that. You think I care?
You've heard every short joke in the book, I'm pretty sure.
Man, first of all, I've heard every short joke. I've heard every PO joke. I've heard every Latino joke.
Yeah.
I've heard it all.
Latinx.
Plus, on top of that, I just honestly, your opinion doesn't matter to me. Oh, your opinion of me does not matter to me. I'm very confident who I am.
Why did you look at me when you said that? My opinion doesn't matter.
Actually, I looked at you, but I pointed kind of that way, so it's kind of like two at the same time.
I see what you're saying. I get
you
it.
Sound like
doesn't matter.
You sound like Coach Prime over there.
Coach Prime, oh man, he had one of the best statements. He said, "Look at me. Look at me. What about me makes you think I give a hoot
about what you said? But look at me.
Yeah, look at me.
Look at me. I don't care what you say. Your opinion isn't me.
Right. But think about that. Like, why? And I heard this from somebody else. Don't ever take advice from someone that you don't want to be like, that you don't look up to, that you don't want to aspire to be like.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy to me. Why would you think of anyone else? Why would you care? If we can zoom in on him actually a little bit. He seems a little far. He seems short in the video. I don't want him looking shorter than me.
Oh, okay.
Well, Coach Prime said he's been getting booed ever since he was out the womb. So that's a pretty
booed since out the womb, huh?
Since he was out the womb, he's been getting booed, and he don't care.
Are you interested in anything that's been going on with college football with Coach Prime?
I've been following that.
Okay.
You know, and I think it's first of all unfortunate. You know.
I think it comes with the territory. He's outlandish. He talks a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like the Howard Eagle article you guys wrote earlier today, right?
Right. Did you read that?
Yeah, I read a bit of it.
Oh, I didn't read it.
It was a long article. That's
really?
A long article.
Listen, it was a lot longer. I actually edited down a lot.
That was edited down?
Well, you know, we're talking about Howard Eagle. You know, there's a lot to say about that.
We've invited him on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm probably the reason why he won't come on the show.
He won't?
No, he won't come on the show.
No, the reason was because he wanted two other people with him.
He needed bodyguards to
he needed two other people with him. I stated that we only had a certain number of, you know, microphones and cameras, and I guess that was not good enough.
Bring his entourage.
Yeah. It's crew.
I don't even have an entourage. You know what? Everywhere I go, guys, you guys are going to have to show up with me. We got the resident liberal.
Yes. Shout out to Howard Eagle for peddling the white supremacy narrative, because it's everywhere, like COVID. So,
but you said you used the word peddling.
Peddling, yeah. He peddles it.
Well, you know, we titled the article, and I think appropriately so. We titled it "Howard Eagle: A Profile in Effectiveness and Controversy."
Yeah. Okay. I didn't.
We can talk about the effectiveness part.
I would love to hear the effectiveness part. The controversy also. I would love to read the article, but I do know the stance that he has. Right. There's a lot of fear and anxiety within someone that's very opinionated as a black man to walk out and believe that the finger should be pointed at, you know, every angle of white supremacy. And I think that is a huge problem for, I think, the black community, because it kind of creates this glass ceiling, right? And there's an element of race hustling, right? But at the same time, we are falling behind the ability to actually pat ourselves on the back, right? And Frederick Douglass said one of the greatest lines of all time: "Without struggle, there's no progress." And I think that speaks to the resiliency of African Americans. And I think sometimes people like Howard Eagle, they miss that point, right? And it makes it harder for us to have conversations with let's say said oppressor, right? And be able to have a conversation and work together. But then at the same time, we're not looking at the overall accomplishments. Like, we had a black female mayor not too long ago. We have a black mayor again right now in Malik Evans. And we said it on the show today, a good majority of City Hall, or Shitty Hall, what I like to call, but City
That's
Hall
not
is
nice.
It isn't, but as a former employee, that's what we call it.
Okay,
Just saying.
disgruntled employee. I see.
Yeah, oh no, not disgruntled. Just
And also the
speaking to
majority
the man.
majority of city council are black as well.
Black as well. So,
But there are times when I do agree with Mr. Eagle. I'll give him Mr. Eagle because he's my elder. My issue with him is the approach. I think you hit it pretty on the head. What the article was, it was hit a couple of times with, people don't like the tact, the lack of tact, or the way you handle it, or the words that you use, because hey, but sometimes you gotta be that person. Sometimes you gotta be.
but what's the overall goal?
That was literally my question when we had the conversation before. But you're not
Right.
going to answer for him. You're
I'm
Yeah.
definitely not here to answer for
Right.
Howard. And I will say the reason we wrote the article is, he is a activist. He's an activist in the community. Definitely plays an important role within the city of Rochester. And whether people like him or not, he is an expert and a voice when it comes to matters of institutional racism and so on and so forth. So we definitely didn't want to write a story to defend his tactics or his approach or any of that. But what we wanted to do was to give people an idea of who he is. And
you want to
give
humanize him.
Well, I wanted to give him an opportunity to speak for himself.
Yeah, that's hey. I wish that you and Shanique Bird would give me that opportunity at some point as well.
Who wrote the sheet?
Maybe we will.
Shanique wrote
Right.
the article. She
We co-wrote
Co-authored.
it.
I,
Co-authored it.
I wouldn't say this if I didn't have like a personal interaction with him,
Mhm.
right? I'm just going to say I disagree. I completely disagree with calling him an expert on institutional racism. I think that is.
I think the city school district is institutional racism. I think
don't
that's one of the biggest things he
haven't-
fights against.
I've yet to really find a true definition of that, because I do think it is a word that was created a long time ago.
You think it's a boogeyman?
I know. I do think it's. I don't think it's a boogeyman. I just think the word is overused at this point, because
So it's lost its.
Yeah, because even
strength.
when we talk about the city school district, right? We had our current mayor. He lost $90 million, right?
Mhm.
We don't know where that money went.
Allegedly.
As the head of the school board, that's a black man. We have probably the most diverse school board in the city of Rochester history.
Yes, absolutely.
We have so many
For years,
for years,
not just recently,
not just recently, for years.
for decades, probably. At this point.
We've had so many resources in this city that is catered to our people. And as a former city employee, I was mesmerized at looking at so many social programs that our community just neglects to even use. You can go into City Hall and go downstairs into the grant department. I don't know if it's still there, but you can go downstairs and literally
It's definitely there's certainly less people, less
There's
hours
less-
put to
yes.
it. There's less money put towards it. It's been slimmed down, let's say.
So it's been marginalized, right? But yet, who's running the system? Our own people, right? So I think if we open our eyes, and yes, it's so much easier to listen to the person that's standing on the soapbox telling that the house is on fire, but who started the fucking fire?
Well, you bring up actually the next article, and Dave, we put you on the spot here. You can stay however long you want. He was actually out here just
No problem.
celebrating.
Wasn't
with
expecting
us.
to come on.
Well, the thing is, and you know this, Jose. I usually keep a very low profile.
I know. So
Smart
you
to
sitting
do
in that chair
It's a
is
smart thing to
huge.
do.
and I do
Yeah.
it purposely. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
go
smart
out
to
and
do
do a
that.
bunch of interviews. I don't,
I
share a
see.
lot of
That's the
stuff.
thing. I try not to either.
Really? I can't
I
tell.
try not to.
No,
I
you
said,
don't
I
try.
said
You
try.
don't try.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay.
The key word was try.
Yeah. Well, then that's a lie because you don't try.
Well,
But you
at some
twisted my
point,
arm.
but at some point, you have to
Mhm.
stand up and say something.
Mhm.
Meaning,
Yeah.
when you stand for something, and people come to you for that voice, there are people out there who are behind you who are kind of like pushing you forward, saying, "We're looking for you to be the leader. Say something, do something, stand up, speak out."
Well, here's the thing, and I published the Minority Reporter and Lavos,
And Lavos.
and the reasons and the purpose behind that is not necessarily to champion any particular cause,
Mhm.
but we want to bring issues to the service, and we want to make sure that Black and brown people have a voice in the conversation. And so it's not about separating people, and it's not about racism. It's really about bringing our community together, because if we have common understanding, then we can work towards a common goal.
I think, yeah, no, that's actually fantastic. I think most people would agree with that. And I've said this to some on city council who tend to be, quite further left than I would be.
Mhm.
And I've told them straight up, I said, look, I get the outcomes you're looking for, and I believe in the outcomes that you're seeking, which is, a prosperous Black community, a prosperous Latino community, one in which we don't need to rely on anything other than what's right in front of us, that we have accessibility to, and is equitable access for everyone. I agree with that.
And use the right word, equity.
Right. Of course, you got to throw that in there.
Well, you do, and here's the thing,
And include and inclusivity.
But here's the thing. I think what we need to find out and pinpoint, like, I'm not gonna say that there's not an element of white supremacy out there, right?
Mhm.
Austin.
I just
But you feel like people like Howard Eagle is peddling that too much.
I think
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I think he's moving it into the wrong direction. If you want to really look at white supremacy, you look at the message and where it's coming from. The message is coming from the Democratic left, who's telling us that we haven't had any progress for years. But yet at the same time, you look at where our faults have began. Well, we look at, we always talk about the fatherless homes. We always talk about the rate of the welfare system. We always talk about, okay, there's no equity or inclusion, but okay, how do you get equity? Well, you don't get equity, and you don't get into, becoming dependent by depending on the government. And the left keeps pushing people towards that level of dependency.
Well, see, that's the problem, is that the left is, in my opinion, the only ones talking to the community about that issue. So if Republicans or conservatives were to talk about those issues in a way that kind of appealed to the Black and Latino community, specifically in Rochester, I think people would see that it's not far off from what they believe, and therefore they don't need to go far left for the answer. They could literally go to the moderate or even conservative side to say, you're absolutely right. The city school district has been destroying our families because it creates an environment in which a kid cannot learn. They are not proficient in math. They're not proficient in reading. They leave high school early because they're allowed to just walk around the schoolyard, walk outside, walk through the doors, because no child left behind. We're not going to hold any kid back. We're not going to keep them accountable for any actions. We can't give them in-school suspension anymore. Like, there's no accountability to the kids. So therefore, parents are just saying, go do your, go basically go to the babysitter.
Yeah.
And our schools are not producing anything for our kids. And so therefore, the kids have to turn to the streets, or those who look like they're doing something and have money and have the, how do you say, where women are looking to them, right? They women that are at that young age, they look to the flash, right? They look to what's flashy in front of them because they're young. They're not looking at the long-term benefits of a man who has a stable background, who knows that he's going to go to college or has a good freaking job. Once he gets out of high school, he's going to go straight into the trades. They're not looking at that. They look at that guy as a nerd.
Yeah,
right?
our country values have changed, exponentially. And there was a time where the majority of black voters were Republican anyway. I think there is an arrogance on the Republican side to where they feel as though they don't have to speak to African Americans. I think they gave up on that voting group. But at the same time, speaking to the arrogance on that side, and I've
But
been
the Republican Party is, I mean, it's changed a lot over, over the years, and even now, you look at the era of Donald Trump. The Republican Party has transitioned again, and I'm certainly not here to necessarily chat about politics. One of the things personally, I'm not a registered Republican, and I'm not a registered Democrat. I can't vote in the primary. I do that purposely because I want to be able to vote for who I want to vote for, and I also want to always kind of be a little more neutral on the issues. So here's the thing, though.
I think that's where most people are.
A lot of people like that.
We need the Democrats and we need the Republicans. We've become too extreme. So you've got Republicans on the right pretending as if issues of race never existed, with trying to take it out of the textbooks and things of that sort. And then you've got folks on the left who are pushing maybe social programs way too much, and we all need to come together somehow.
Because we're going to jump off the politics topic, because I already know what you're going to jump into. You're going to dive deeper into politics.
No, I'm not going to go deeper into politics. I'm just going to say this because I think this is very important. This is very, very important. And the folks who know me, I love to step into the time machine, okay? And what we fail to realize is how powerful propaganda is, right? So for what you just said, right, with the CRT argument, right, taking race out of the school system, the curriculum. Yep. That's not what actually is being said. It's the other things, the perversion where they're sliding in other things outside, into the CRT argument. If the Republicans, they more than anyone would want to push, the education system to learn about Black history, because guess what? When they go back and learn about what happened in their history, they will find that every single term, the Republican Party was the party that emancipated the slaves. The Republican Party was the party that signed and passed the Civil Rights Bill. The Republican Party was the main party for African Americans and Black African American men. They were organized back then, especially here within this city. So within our own history in this city, our place in history as Republicans, Black Republicans, is about as rich as any city in the country. But see, they don't want to tell you that. The people want to distract Black folks from that information and knowledge are the party that actually created white supremacy, which is the Democratic Party. But no one, like, again, we started the show off with Mr. Howard Eagle. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to touch those issues. What they want to stay in is the fight or flight arguments of, okay, the white man wants to take something from you. And it's so easy today to stick on Trump. Trump is a racist. But then again, when you go and look at the facts, you look at actually what happened. Black folks within the Trump administration prospered more than any other time since, 50, 60 years ago. So if we're going to have conversations as Black people, and again, I don't want to keep harboring and keep, promoting Mr. Eagle. We had a tit for tat through social media, and we were, to try and have a conversation about race and say, okay, if someone like myself is say, you know what, there is an element of bigotry and ignorance everywhere, right? And it doesn't matter, right? There's ignorance between Black on Black crime. Ignorance is ignorance. It doesn't matter. But when we were having this conversation online, if I say something that I disagree with as far as the level of white supremacy, and I ask a simple question, okay, what percentage is it? Is it 90% of white people in this country are white supremacists? Is it 50? Is it 40? What's the number? And you can't really gauge and give an exact figure or give an accurate answer. So then you're just really working off of emotion, and it kills the conversation. We can't conversate and actually communicate and say, you know what?
you're looking at it a different way. You know what? I see what you're saying. I might be looking at it wrong. We might have had some level of progress. We had a black president.
Well,
right?
progress.
Is he president? Was he black? I don't know what color Obama was.
Stop it right now. Too far. We're gonna edit that out.
Yeah, there's no way. No way.
I thought this was a live show.
It is. I know. That's why I was waiting for the laughter to come around, but everyone was like, "Wait, can we do that?"
There we go.
What the hell? So we can get into. I mean, we can talk politics all day, but I like to discuss actual policies that's been put forth, especially in multiple cities like Seattle, Spokane, and Tacoma, and even the great state of California. What once was the great state of California. They are challenging a court ruling that essentially prevents cities from enforcing camping bans. So there was a court ruling that said you as a city can't enforce kicking these tent cities out of your communities. And the same cities that were pushing for this back 10 years ago, saying that it's racist to not allow these tent cities to be, as we've seen here locally on, what was that, Saranac Street? And pretty much everywhere you go nowadays in the city of Rochester, where we are telling people, look, you can be living in your own tent city if all you want. You can't do it here. Like, you can't do it on this main street where these little kids were getting off the bus and seeing grown people shooting up in their own neighborhoods. So it's amazing how quickly some of these city leaders have reversed course once it actually hits their backyard, once people start waking up to the long-term effects of such a policy. The fact that we've gotten to this point, because I remember back when Lovely Warren, she bulldozed an entire, real quick. And I forget
they put a skate park over there, right?
They sure did. They sure did. Bulldoze an entire tent city. I was livid. I was like, why would you do that? It was Christmas Eve that they did it on as well.
She carried a big stick policy, right?
She does have a big stick. And I mean, bigger than what I've seen currently, I guess. But that's where we were before. Now it got to a point where we can, we have the people who take a little more far left, who tend to be progressives or more liberal. I hate saying liberal, because the old school liberal would be like, you can't do that. Like, you're not gonna do that. You can certainly have your own tent city. Like, in my area, we have Turning Point Park, and we have plenty of space back there. And every time I see this person going back there, I'm like, you know what? As long as they're freaking, not ruling something, not breaking into cars, not doing drugs in front of people. If they want to, sleep in woods down near the river, as long as they're not ruining, the area for anyone else, I personally don't care. If I were homeless, I'd be sleeping behind KFC. can double check that. Everyone that's on the chat, someone check that out. See how many that tiny houses those were. That's coming from someone who, in my district, I actually was able to help a nonprofit that came from the Northeast district that couldn't get something done for whatever reason. They came to the Northwest district, my district, and said, Jose, I need your help with this. We're trying to build a tiny village.
Because family members and lost loved ones within that aspect.
Did you just flip?
Flip what?
You're right. Your position. Did you just flip your
No,
position?
no, I didn't flip at all.
Well, hold on, because I believe that I'm one of those people who every topic I can flip on.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Meaning,
Yeah, but you're a politician.
no,
Yeah, well, No, I would
don't
like to
blame
know
me.
where I flipped. But no, I didn't flip at all. I'm just saying that's a fact. The Monroe County does a lot with the mental health of the state. They have facilities that are designed for folks who have mental health. The thing is, they're over capacitated. So what they do is they send them out, reject them. You know, after so many times, there's so much that they can do with someone that they can't help, they cannot control. So they send them out. So where now, you know, they're just
They don't want to be in a homeless shelter.
to be in any facility. They have to get out. There's something within their soul is telling them, I gotta get out. You know, again, that's what happened to my brother. He had a home, you know, he couldn't say a full sentence other than, you know, do you have $1 for a cigarette? He was bumming for cigarettes. He was lost to the system, but the system didn't want him. The system they kept rejecting him. He applied for to go to this state facility, but they kept rejecting him because he could not write his own name. So they rejected him and they wouldn't allow him to have a cosigner. So, you know, right before he finally got accepted to this state facility, he passed away. He was murdered in the streets. So I think I don't really leave it up to the county to solve everyone's mental health problem.
Mhm.
But I think, there needs to be a little bit more resources provided to where we can possibly help, in some way.
There's a socialist in you.
I want
Where it
you-
would be. This is what I mean. That's what I meant by I can flip flop on any
Yeah.
issue, because one issue I could be super conservative on, another issue I could be super liberal on, or super progressive, or super socialist.
At least you're acknowledging that it's an issue.
No,
And,
absolutely.
mental
It is
health
Yeah,
an
100%
issue
an
that-
issue.
And the
It
county
a-
is letting it behind.
I will
Yeah.
always
Mhm.
rock the green ribbon in honor of, my brother, because I know what he went through,
Mhm.
and I know what my family went through, and I know there's so many other families out there that were struggling. And not to go to the, bring up the Daniel Prude situation in their family, I can only imagine what
Mhm.
they went through. And I think the saddest part for what took place with Daniel Prude was, you know, the community and folks around outside it. I think they used that situation and that family to their advantage when, we did lose someone to their own condition that they could not stop, they could not prevent.
But
And
you also had a
that's
situation
tragedy.
where, and I know that the city's put some things in place
To make up for what the county did not do.
Mm-hmm.
if you want to put it that way. But basically, make sure that we have trained mental health
Yeah.
professionals present at these types of situations. This was a man that clearly was suffering from some mental health, which certainly could mean that he could harm himself and others.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he's suffering from a mental health condition. So it's something that definitely law enforcement, the health community, we all have to come together and find ways to address these types of things.
Yeah, it's sad.
Speaking of coming together, ever heard the phrase NIMBY? NIMBY. It's not in my backyard.
Okay.
Mm.
Ever heard that? So something that I've been dealing with specifically over in the Lyle Ave neighborhood. I had the Open Door Mission, who was looking to expand their operations, because they said there's going to be a lot more homeless people coming into Rochester. Whether they're not outside of Rochester, or they're just getting evicted from their homes, or there's going to be a lot of foreclosures. This comes from the nonprofit side, saying we need to expand operations in order to accommodate that. They came to me saying, do you think that anywhere in your district would be open to something like that? I said, we're open to it right now. Like, we need it right now, especially in the area of like between Lyle and Lexington. We have a lot of people over there who
Yeah.
are prostitutes, who are on drugs, who are walking the streets, who have nowhere to go, who can't shower, this and the other. If you can provide services for those people, that'd be very helpful to me and my community, meaning my district. I brought it to the community association saying, look, this is what might be coming down the line. And immediately there was backlash about it. And I said, you're telling me right now that you would rather have the same people still walking these streets, still stinking up the air, still looking like they just freaking walked out of the garbage can from Sesame Street, like Grouch over here, and you're not going to be okay with a nonprofit organization coming into the area? Well, this is actually happening kind of in the Cornhill district. There's an article that just came out in Cornhill, which was, gentrified back in the day. Let's be very clear about that. It was gentrified. Now the county is looking to put a proposed residential facility for unhoused families in a building located in South Plymouth Avenue that would be operated by the county. It would include 58 bedrooms, 8 bedrooms, as well as kitchen facilities. Those in favor of the facility said it would allow families experiencing homelessness to have access to more stable support. Well, the neighbors in the Cornhill area are not very happy with this.
Well, they're looking at property values probably.
I
Yeah.
don't blame them on that. I'm
Other
sorry,
things.
bro.
I-
Sorry.
I don't disagree with
sorry.
it. I also see that was an area that used to be somewhat low income area where nothing was happening in that area. Then we have businesses coming in, we have the city come in, gentrify the entire area, basically, kick people out of the area. And now they're it seems like the city is doing a lot of this reverse what we did 15, 20, 30 years ago. They're kind of like trying to reverse it. And I hate to say it, stuffing it down people's freaking throats. Like you're going to accept this and you're going to take it, or else you're racist or a bigot or, phobic of some kind.
I would like to know what's preventing anyone from any of these areas from, doing anything.
My issue is the county. Why doesn't the county do this in any other area outside of the city?
We know why. They pay the most in their eyes. They pay the most taxes. So they don't want to rock the boat. Why would they rock the boat where the majority of the property values are up so high? You know what I mean? So they know if you rock the boat, they're gonna be talking the most shit.
It would make more sense to me that as a democratically led county, if you wanted to take over areas that were more Republican voter, why wouldn't you kind of put things there that would kind of push people to vote Democrat?
Oh, well, that's happening in Pittsburgh.
I'm not okay with it. I'm just saying.
Well, it's happening in Pittsburgh and Brighton. They're turning more blue anyway. So maybe it's happening and they're taking their time.
Well, they have the Pines. What's that place called? The low income area
on Fairport. Yeah. I mean, that's only one. You know what I mean? The Webster, they have.
You don't think there would be more coming down the line?
I don't know. It depends. I would say Fairport's they're still more conservative than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is definitely blue. They're turning way blue.
Yeah.
Very, very blue. They're letting drag shows go up in their libraries. So, they're already on their way. Brighton also.
I've walked Brighton.
Whoo, Brighton is crazy.
But it sounds like you guys are hitting on a bigger issue of the fact that the middle class is shrinking, and more and more people are going to find themselves in poverty.
Is it shrinking, or was it forced to basically implode?
Well, either way, it's getting smaller.
Right. What do you think is a better answer for how we deal with that?
Well, I don't have the answers, but I certainly see that these things are happening, and I kind of feel like this is why we elect, people like Jose Payo, and I'm messing with you because
you're not messing with me. That's a very good answer.
I'm on your show, and you're still.
He's being nice to you now. I'm gonna talk about you when you leave.
See, I didn't say any short jokes.
Yeah, they're right? Coming though. They're coming.
But no, because you're absolutely right. Because my answer to the middle income earners kind of imploding is that we need to be pushing for more small business owners. We need to help these small business owners who are, who are working from home essentially, to say, hey, we can help you get from a small business to a medium-sized business. We need that amazing chef that's inside of your personal home that you're selling $20 freaking meals out of your kitchen. We need to get you into a actual kitchen, an actual commissary. How can we help you do that? What is it that you need? You need access to funding. That's where the government needs to step in, because there's a huge disconnect between money and people that have fantastic businesses that just have terrible personal credit.
But and add another thing to that, because I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. As you know, Jose, I have my newspaper and I have several other businesses that I'm involved with. But guess what? New York State is very hard to do business in New York State.
Yeah, they don't want small businesses to operate right now.
And between the taxes and regulations and all of those things, as a small business owner,
insurance,
it's exactly
people are sleeping on the insurance
you have to do. And so we need our elected officials to really come together and to try to really find common sense solutions to some of these issues. Just common sense. Make sure businesses can thrive in this. You know what? I got a house in Florida, and
you a black man? You got a house in Florida? Oh my God! Look at that! So look at that!
I knew Lavelle would love that.
I knew he would love that. The oppression for you must be suffocating, my brother. Oh my God! How dare you?
They did say it was an emergency order for black people to not go to Florida because
because they were so racist down there.
Yeah,
right?
there was a
How do you feel about that?
The NAACP down there said, "Oh, don't come to Florida because it's racist for black folks."
That is hostile against black people. But you know, the point, the
He jumped
reason
that
I brought
way.
up,
He jumped so good out
Right.
the reason I brought up Florida was, you know, whatever people think about the Florida politics,
Easy to
guess
do
what?
business.
It's easier to do business down
Mhm.
there as a
Less red
small
tape.
business owner. It just is.
Yeah.
And I think that New York State really can do a lot more to make the state a lot more friendly to small businesses. So over the last 5 years, I've been audited 3 times.
Mm.
3 times in the last 5 years. You know why? Because
'Cause they're
New York
racist.
State.
Sounds like it.
You should got Howard Eagle on that
They're
one.
looking for tax
Sounds
dollars.
like-
Looking for
That's
tax
all they
money.
want.
Well, let me
You know?
That's all they want.
let me ask you this, because I can definitely hear the West Indian accent in your voice.
Really?
Oh, I do. I can tell it.
Well, I'm Jamaican. So
So you're Jamaican, right? So that's great. That's great. So by you
Mhm.
coming from where you come from,
Mhm.
right? Do you see an advantage within this country in operating to where you can produce several businesses and be in several different things because of what we have here within this country?
well, sure. I mean, you know, and people say, "Oh, America is the greatest country, you know, in the world," and we are. I
Gosh
mean,
darn right.
Thank you.
You know,
Just
I
like
mean,
to hear that.
you know, a lot of opportunities here. I definitely will not bash this country. Migrants, people come here from, you know, we're all a melting pot because there's opportunities here. And hopefully we can keep it that way.
That's exactly. Yeah. I
That's the
agree.
problem.
That's the
you
problem.
know?
You know who's
'Cause
not
now you're
here?
looking at China and,
Ooh.
You don't got to look
China.
that far. Look
They
at
don't got that far.
California. Look at Gavin Newsom. All right. So Gavin Newsom, this might be a topic. I'm not quite sure if you're going to jump on this topic, but we'll see.
should I
We'll see
should I
what
take
happens.
my
No, you should
my
not.
headpiece off now?
No, you should not. This may be the proof that Gavin Newsom is in fact running for president next year instead of Joe Biden. This may be the proof, because the only way any Democrat will win a fair nationwide election is to be considered a moderate progressive. That's the only possible way. That's how Joe Biden got elected, because he came off as a moderate Democrat. And he showed it here. Governor Newsom signed several bills Saturday aimed at bolstering the state's protections for LGBTQ plus people, aka Legitimaquois, a day after issuing a controversial veto that was criticized by advocates. So let's go into the new laws that he did sign. The new laws include legislation that focuses on support for Legitimaquois youth. One law,
Youth?
yes.
Whoa.
One law sets timelines for required cultural competency training for public school teachers and staff, while another creates an advisory task force to determine the needs of Legitimaquois students and help advance supportive initiatives. A third requires families to show that they can and are willing to meet the needs of a child in foster care, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. That's why he did sign into law. That's what he did sign into law, to appease the Legitimaquois. But let's get into what he vetoed. All right. There was a bill that he vetoed. AB 952 was the bill in California Assembly that sought to amend the state's family code and institute gender identity at the core of custody decisions of transgender children. It would have forced the courts to, quote unquote, include a parent's affirmation of the child's gender identity or gender expression as part of the health, safety, and welfare of the child, end quote. The proposed legislation threatened to undermine parental authority while prioritizing transgender rights over the evolving preferences of adolescents. Consider the dangerous precedents, in my mind, my personal mind, that this would have established if Newsom had signed that into law. Number one, judges would have the authority to declare child endangerment if a child's parent failed to affirm a child's gender identity or gender expression, number one. Number two, it specified that affirmation wasn't a universal application and involved a range of actions that would be unique for each child, but in every case must promote the child's overall health and well-being. That means that Californian parents were to be subject to the judicial decisions influenced by their children's impulses. So that was one of the states where, let's say you're a father and a mother and you're getting divorced, and the mother is not okay, they have, let's say they have sole custody of the children, and one of the children decide they want to be trans, right? They decide they were not born in the sex in which they identify. If the mother says, nah, like you gotta live this out, like you're not gonna go and just go do what you want at a doctor's appointment, they're not gonna give you these puberty blockers, they're not gonna perform some kind of chopping off of anatomy, but the dad says, no, you must allow this child to do this. The court could have then sided with the dad and took that child away from the mother and given to the father, based purely on the dad affirming the child's belief that they were born in a different gender. So, in terms of, I think a lot of the conversation right now is whether Joe Biden is going to be the actual Democratic nominee for the 2024 elections. I don't think he will be. I think they're getting ready for Gavin Newsom to step in. Do you think that this might be proof that he will, in fact, step in? The fact that he's showing himself to be a moderate Democrat, finally, because we're talking about, the conversation before was about how states put things into play where it makes it very difficult to run a business. It makes it very difficult to have any say in your child's education. It makes it very difficult to, live without 56% of your income going towards taxes. California is that, and New York is right behind it. But Gavin Newsom finally stands up against the woke progressive. I hate to use that terminology, but he stood up against the far, far left and said, we're not going to go that far left. Even though the entire past, 10 years, he has been going that far left. Does this show, in your mind, is this kind of proof that he might actually be jumping in and being the next Democratic nomination, on top of the fact that Fox News is going to have a debate between Gavin Newsom and the governor of Florida, your governor, next month?
I'm looking at so there's so many different things going on here and what you're saying, and we got guests here, so maybe we can ask our guests, and
I don't know if you want to jump in on this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm very interested to hear
this is
how he feels. Knowing that he's a Jamaican,
oh, man.
I know what goes on in that country.
Well, welcome to Jam
and how they feel about this topic.
But you can't equate every one of them into that.
Oh, get it. All right. Well, you don't
That's
know.
why my anthem is that I got 6 jobs.
You don't know how they feel over in the West Indies. I think who cares whatever they do on that side? It really does not matter, because even if he stands up to this, there's so many other issues that within that side, there's going to be some sort of, give back to that far left. He's going to fall in line eventually.
He's going to have to appease to something.
Yes, he's going to have to appease someone. So this may be a small victory, but the overall issue is the fact that we're having conversations where we are entering the private families' homes and taking their children away from the parents with these type of issues of sexuality. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem. How do we separate the kids from the parents and empower the kids to make decisions that they're not mentally prepared for? They're not even mentally prepared to have the sex conversation.
Get a tattoo.
You're right. They're not.
They can't smoke. They can't get a tattoo. They can't own a gun. They can't vote.
You can't do any of things. But
you can't enter into law.
You can chop your meat off all day. You as a 10-year-old say, you know what, Mom, Dad, guess what? I just want to be a girl. No, I want to be a cat. I want to be a cat.
Yeah.
I want to be a cat. Let me be a fucking cat. You're gonna let that happen? And if you can't let him be a cat, what? You lose your child? Like that's the most dangerous part of this. So I think the diversion is okay, the gay stuff, right? That's the distraction. But what they really want to do is they want to separate these kids from their homes, create a whole new demographic of individuals that they can control.
And who won't be able to have children.
That won't be able to have children. And also they will eventually get older. They will get to 20 years old. And now you have a whole new different population of potential voters, potential, lemmings that you can just push on anything. They can get vaccines. They can just, I don't know, put anything into their body to where we got the eugenics argument. You know what I mean?
I think it's worse. I think that there's going to be a lot of companies out there who are going to say, the fact that you have your pronouns on your, resume that say Z, Zim, Zay, Zer, all these crazy pronouns on there. There's going to be companies that are going to finally stand up and say, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not going to deal with that, because once you invite that into your workplace, it's downhill from there, because you have to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
Listen, these are big issues that's just politically explosive. Okay. But personally, and I don't delve into personal opinion so much. But I feel like people should have the option, to be who they are or who they were born. But personally, I feel like it should be done at a responsible age.
Might be the libertarian in you. You might be a little bit more libertarian than anything.
Maybe.
I personally have a problem if my 6-year-old or 7 or 8-year-old son, comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm a female," then I would probably say, "Okay, but let's not do anything. Let's wait until
you're a child
at an appropriate age
You ain't a female,
And a lot of people may disagree on that, but going back to,
but that's your parent. They can disagree all they want.
Yeah,
but you're the parent.
Right. Yeah, you're the parent.
Yeah,
right.
parents really should be empowered to make some decisions for their kids, children. They're let's face it, they're children and they're developing. Regarding the whole politics of Gavin Newsom, it's, to me, I think it's all politics, and I think that the reason that we're even having this conversation about Gavin Newsom is because people are just not confident with Joe Biden. Republicans,
man, you put that in a really good way. We're not confident.
Listen, they pay me to choose my words carefully.
Yeah. Oh, you right. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
So, I mean, this is Republicans or Democrats.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. And that's, I think that's the real issue there.
I don't think, if we're going to talk about, putting forth the best of the best, I think for the past, I don't know how many years we have not been providing the best of the best.
More out there. No.
This is my issue, is that a lot of times people feel so self-conscious about things and they don't want to put themselves out there, especially today, to be judged by millions in this country, that they're like, well, I just rather not. So that's why I'm a big fan of Vivek Ramaswamy, being a, self-made multi-billionaire, I think at this point. Shut up. Because to have a business owner jump into saying, look, I think I don't believe in where our country is going. I want to step in. I want to do something that's right. I prefer that over anything else. And that's why when, Donald Trump came into the race, I was okay with that. I was like, you know what? I'm cool with having a, private business owner come into the race against an established hardcore politician like Hillary Clinton. I was like, I was glued to the TV. I was watching everything. It was great TV. Fantastic. And I was laughing the entire time. Every time they made little, pointers at each other, it was awesome to watch until reality hit. And I was like, oh crap, this is like, we're going to have to deal with actually this the entire time as our president, as the person that represents me in America. Again, I understand that a lot of Donald Trump's policies worked out in my favor. I'm not against that because my wallet was a lot heavier than where it is now.
He's the only president that addressed human trafficking. But just saying.
Here's the other issue with that. So even now, why is Donald Trump just so far ahead of everybody else? I mean, come on, is Donald Trump really that much better than the entire cast of Republican?
I'll speak as a non-Republican. I'm going to speak as a non-Republican here. I'm going to speak as someone who's very moderate. I see it as every time they go after him, it shows me that he is outside of that swamp. And I'm tired of the swamp. I'm tired of the career politicians. I'm tired of the same old people saying the same old thing, saying vote for me and then I'm going to do this. I'm tired of that. And so when I see that they continue to take him to court, you know, and then every time something comes out against Hunter Biden, they automatically have another accusation against Donald Trump the day after to try and, in my opinion, take the eyes off of what's happening behind the scenes with Joe Biden and his son with, you know, they just came out with more information saying they can tie Joe Biden to another, you know, wires of money coming in directly into his account.
Well, here's the thing, you know, with the politics. If you can tie him to it, then tie him to it and hold him accountable.
Well, the problem is you can only tie him to the money. You can't tie him to saying that, okay, you gave me money, so therefore I'm going to give you something in return.
But here's the thing. This is the United States of America. So you're still innocent until proven guilty. So, so hold on. Regardless of, we may look at something and say, okay, this looks fishy or what have you. But guess what? You still have to have the
fishy
proof.
is enough for me to say you're not a good president at this point.
Making a point, not saying he's a great president or not, just making a point to say that you've got to have, you know, the proof to be able to charge someone and convict them.
We got
not anymore.
We got
right there we go.
We got an audience over here. No one can see the audience.
You're going to jump in. You're going to jump in because you're going to say that you're saying that because of Donald Trump. Because
I'm saying in general. You don't have to
there we go.
You ain't got to say who you are. Go ahead.
You don't have to have proof to press charges. And in the court of public opinion, everything you said is not true.
Yeah.
Especially with politicians.
Court of public opinion is different than the court of law.
Yeah, but if you can prevent somebody from even running for something or even prevent someone from voting for that person based purely on the fact that you've judged them automatically on something.
But people are already doing that on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden.
No, they're not. They're not really doing it.
You know,
they're trying to. They're trying to.
I feel like it's not to the level.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Real quick, Austin, can you scroll up because we had a long question before. Who wrote that? Oh, hey.
Aaron.
Right. Aaron. Oh, yeah. Aaron A. Yeah. Aaron A. Aaron V said hi. Oh, and Mom Duke said, "Tell Aaron it's fine." Wait, what did she say? Because I can't read. While Jose fix up his shit.
Jeez.
Look at you, God,
Right. It's my first time doing a podcast.
What did you do?
It's
NIMBY.
actually it's this place. That's why we're moving.
I don't know.
That's right. It's falling apart. This is the last episode here.
If Aaron can help us out what NIMBY means, until we
talked
need
about it.
the help and solution.
Not in my backyard.
Oh, not my backyard. Okay, yeah. So till we need the help and solutions, speaking to your point about the middle class shrinking, those same folks who don't support things like the family housing you mentioned may very well find themselves on the other side of the issue and then wish these solutions, you're killing me, Austin,
existed. Easy to say no until you wish you had said yes. If we had a deeper perspective on helping those in need and realizing everyone deserves help, maybe a small divide would be healed.
And
maybe more importantly, and maybe less liberal sounding. That's awesome for Aaron to say. Adults who have their basic needs met. Okay, this is where we're going to disagree. Adults who have their basic needs met are much more likely to be contributing members of society. Okay. That part is where I struggle with because my basic needs are met by Jose Pio. It's not met by any government. I say that because at the end, I hate this freaking quote at the end of the day. But when I lay my head down at night, whatever happened that day, how I woke up, how I got ready for the day, how I performed that day, what I did that day was all on me. Every part of that was me. The government that had nothing to do with that. I woke up early to go to the gym, to make the calls that I need to make the cold calls, which are very hard to make, to talk to business owners about this, that, and the other. That's what I did. The government has nothing to do with my everyday. And so when we say adults who have their basic needs met, if I'm someone who decides that I'm going to sleep on the streets, and there are plenty of them in Rochester, I've talked to plenty of them. I've asked them, Why are you on the streets? What happened? And many of them are like, I'm choosing to.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. Right. And this is kind of the same shit they kicked to black folks when, they push welfare in to incentivize the fatherless homes. You are then dependent on the government. But I'm not gonna lie, if it was possible, if the elements were not there, right? And if shit ever hits the fan, bro, if I can live within the elements, why not? If I can go and just live like we did back in the day and it was like just normal, no one frowned upon it, why not do it? Why not doing it? Why not live within, if
you want to show you're a man?
I mean, I will fish. We got everything up here in Rochester, right?
We really do.
Fish, deer, freaking.
I don't know. He's wearing a Gucci.
We got cold weather too.
I don't know. He's wearing a Gucci hat.
That's
Are
why I
you
said the
fishing?
elements, right? Oh, yeah. Listen, this
Cold weather.
This guy right here is definitely the American dream right here. Is letting everybody know you can do it. You don't need anybody.
I shouldn't have wore this cap. Yeah.
We know it's real too.
I don't think that was it.
You ain't get that from the corner store.
Well,
it's real.
It comes with sacrifice, right? It comes with sacrifice.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is how I was raised, and I saw my parents work hard. I've worked hard for everything I have.
But we can't do that though. As Black Americans, work hard. No, we need somebody to help us work hard.
Yeah, it's
and meet your basic needs.
And so, on balance, let me say that there are people, the whole notion of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, it's great. Guess what? Everyone cannot do that. So
who can't?
Who can't? Right.
Who can't?
Let me say, everyone,
who can't?
just doesn't have. I mean,
I'm sitting here with my own podcast. I'm sitting here with a podcast.
I'm going to say,
Austin's sitting here as a producer doing his own thing.
But I hate when people say everyone can't, because if you go back to the
then
story
here's why
of
everyone
why,
can't.
though.
Yeah, well, why? Because you look at the Black community and you look at the legacy of slavery and Jim Crowism.
I can't live with that.
Hold on, but these are real issues.
They are
60 years ago, right?
Real consequences.
40 years ago.
And I'm going to hit you with this.
And also generational issues.
Yep, you're right. And I'm going to hit you with it. I'm going to hit you with it. Hold on, I'm going to hit you with it, because you know where that term came from. You know who coined the phrase "pull yourself from the bootstraps"?
I know
who said that. Do you know?
I don't.
Okay,
know.
That's problem number one. That's very problematic. The person who coined that phrase is Booker T. Washington. Now, does anybody know why he coined that phrase? Booker T. Washington, former slave. You read his book, Up From Slavery. He told you within his book, this man, once Emancipation Proclamation was set, and he knew that he could get an education, this man walked from West Virginia to Virginia, sat outside of an institution day after day after day, sleeping in the alleys until they allowed him into the school to work. Then once they allowed him to work, he worked his way into an education. Once he had an education, he then went off to build his own school. You know what he did when he built the whole school by his own hands?
I understand that.
No, wait. So that's why if any man like that,
right,
where number one, racism was real. Like, you can go outside and taste that shit. That's how real it was. You can go down the street, go down the road, you'll see a black man hanging from a tree. So if anybody can say to inspire a future where today we have welfare programs, we have so many social programs where someone, despite whatever adversity that they have, right, they can pull themselves up from from their bootstraps and work hard to do what they can do. The same reason why for you yourself, and I know in your native country, in Jamaica, there are slums galore. There are people who are having trouble. But if they come over here into this country and they work hard, which is why so many, the running joke with Jamaicans that they have so many different jobs because they see the opportunity and wonder why they're taking these opportunities, because they know that the black man down the street, his dumb ass is going to sit on the corner and drink and not go work.
Listen, you're not going to get me to disagree with you.
Oh, I know I'm not. Okay. But I'm just sticking to that
but there
phrase.
Is a but. There is a but.
Right.
And the point is that, just like everybody can't be an entrepreneur like myself and can't work for themselves. Since college, I never worked for anyone. Okay, I had failures. I filed bankruptcy. I lost a house. Well, I got stuff, cars, and whatever today. But I've worked hard for all of those things.
You sacrificed.
But I've built, my business and other things. The point I'm making is everyone does not have the capacity.
Is it the mental
to
capacity,
do that?
or is it the will? Because I'm pretty sure
And some of it is will,
right? And I'm pretty
yes.
sure you.
So should they
And
have the
sometimes
same
people need me. The point is, people need a helping hand.
for
okay.
what? To get to your level?
A helping hand.
Between
I left mine.
Okay, we're
I
live
had enough
again.
juice. We back up?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm crazy for asking. There's a million codes.
go ahead, have it. You never had it?
No.
Oh, dude, finish it.
You never had some of this?
We're live, by the
Oh,
way.
we're live.
Yeah.
There's another.
back.
There's
We're
another
back.
glass right there on the counter. Come on, Gino. You gotta have a shot with us.
I guess
No, that's the
I guess we
chaser.
fell off the internet. We
That's
fell off
the
the internet. We were over here taking shots with our guests.
We're having a good show.
Actually.
Yeah, they gave me Bacardi in here or something.
Oh, so
I
you
think
ain't got
I
that
think they're
brown.
trying to loosen me up.
Yeah, that's all part of the plan. That's what we do.
All right. So since we got a multimedia mogul here,
Yes, Rochester's
Rochester's
multimedia
very
mogul
own Minority Reporter,
pulled himself up from his own
bootstraps
to do what he
overcame all the objections.
and to carry on the Frederick Douglass tradition of black media in this city. Applause, 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 because
Give it to him.
you know
Thank you.
Also,
he deserves that.
how dare you?
But back to the conversation about
Oh, he ain't gonna let that one go.
people pulling
Go ahead.
themselves from the bootstrap. And I keep saying I believe in that. I believe that people should work hard. You can achieve anything that you can. But guess what? Whether it's Donald Trump or anyone else, there was people that helped him. Donald Trump's dad gave him, I think, $300 million.
$1 million.
That's-
A
or
small
$1
million dollar loan.
I mean, yeah, $1 or $3 million.
Yeah,
I think it
sure,
was.
let's go with it.
Not 300, $3 million.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's my point, that I'm saying that people still need help to get, and I'm not saying throw a bunch of social programs at people and what have you. And I'm gonna tell you a true story.
ooh, don't give us
So-
a false one.
So listen, after college, I was living up in Buffalo and started a publication up there,
Where'd you go to school?
Buffalo State.
Oh,
Buffalo State College.
Buffalo State.
Yeah, Buffalo
that's
State.
right. You
And I lived in, no comment. I lived in Buffalo for a number of years, but I started my first business, and I'll never forget this. I met a man. He was an accountant. I'm a young black man. He believed in me, and long story short,
Why?
this
Why did he believe in you?
he believed in me because yeah, right. Yeah.
What?
Because he saw me as a young black man with a vision. This man,
Vision.
I'm-
All right, so you articulated it
Yes.
to him in some kind of way.
I'm gonna make the story short, but this man wrote me a check for $30,000 to help me get my business started.
It's the white supremacy in you. Was he white?
The
Was he
point
white or
is-
black?
Yeah, this was a white guy.
Right.
This was a older white man.
Okay.
Saw me, and a young man in my 20s.
Right. Wrote you a
I
check.
didn't have the money.
Wrote you a check for what though?
Oh, he wrote me a check for my business.
Which
to
business
help
was
me-
that? The media that you want to
Yeah,
start?
this was
$30,000 to start that media company.
Yes.
All right, so you articulated yourself into a
Yes.
$30,000 loan or a
No,
investor.
he
Just
just
wrote
wrote
it.
me a check.
That's
Okay.
dope.
Okay.
That's
I
I want to say amazing, but it's not amazing. That's actually what happens in America.
Yes.
It's real life.
And that's my point is that we all need help. Now, I didn't
That wasn't
squander
hold on, hold on,
squander that money.
no. You're downplaying. You're downplaying yourself.
You're on the wrong
You're
show for that.
downplaying yourself on that
'Cause
one. No, you didn't
gonna-
need that
we gonna
help.
Cut that up.
There was somebody in America that was going to give you that money.
Uh-huh.
It just happened to be
Mhm.
that guy at that time because you
Mhm.
met him right then and there.
Mhm.
Somebody was going to give you that money
But you're
because
getting
you
back to-
articulated the dream. That's what
Mhm.
happens in Shark Tank.
It happens all
They
the
show up
time.
on Shark Tank and they
Mhm.
provide a 90-second, hey, this is what I'm going to do,
Mhm.
or this is what I have been doing, this is what I'm going to do. If you invest in me, this is how much money you're going to make off of this.
You
Mhm.
should be
You're
celebrated-
downplaying yourself on that one.
Right, and you should be celebrated as equally as. Do you know who the great Howard Coles is locally here?
Oh yes. Of
Right.
course.
So the great Howard Coles, he had his radio show. He's also a media head. You know,
Mhm.
he had his own newspaper. He
And
said
his
the same.
daughter is still here, Joan
Yes,
Coles Howard.
and he spoke of the same story where within the city he was looking around for people to sponsor his company,
Mhm.
and he was going around, company to company until he found this one, guy who owned a supermarket that invested in him. And that is part of the American dream, right? And it's also a part of sales. You're not going to, like, the first person you talk to is not going to say yes 99.9% of the time. It's all part of sales. It's all part of you learning within just this business. How bad do you want it? And for us within the Black community, it's so easy for us to go to one one place and get rejected and say, oh,
And
you know
stop
what?
and
You're
quit.
not talking to me
Yep.
because I'm black, right? The same with a business loan, right? Or a mortgage loan. First of all, banks are designed to give money for whatever they want to give money
They're
to.
designed to make money, not give money.
Well, designed to make money off of what they lend, right?
Right,
So they
right.
want to lend out money to you. It would be the most dumbest idea to just reject a whole demographic just because they're black. You're shutting off a whole nother income source. You know what I mean? So a lot of the things that happen within just the stories that come out of black folks that get rejected, that victimized mentality stops them from having that ability to persevere through whatever, because you're going to have to fail. Every business owner has failed multiple times. Right. And we know it as business professionals. We know it. We expect it, though.
It's kind of the right, you know, it's your right level. You have to have gone through something in order to get to there. And I got a question from a very VIP person that listens to us. He said, what would he have done next if this guy didn't gift him the money? What would you have done?
Oh, I would have figured it out.
You would have figured it out.
That's what I always
Great
done.
question. Great answer.
So
Yeah.
so to that point,
Mhm.
you started this whole conversation by saying that people who are struggling need to be given.
No, and that's not what I said. What I
You said they needed to provide. Someone needed to provide
Help.
for them.
Yes,
Provide
help.
help.
Yeah.
Right. I said, everyone needs help at a certain.
Right.
Yeah,
But if
that's
you-
true.
but
Their
if you
life.
did- if
Help.
Did you
did-
see that as help, though? Did you see that as help, or did you see that as an investment?
It's an opportunity.
When
It
investment
was
gives a return.
right. He gave it to me. He expected nothing back from me. Okay.
Is he still alive?
Right. I need that guy. I need that guy.
Yo.
But what you just said was
Mhm.
is that if he didn't give you this money, you would have kept trying.
Absolutely.
So the issue isn't that
Mhm.
people aren't getting these gifted opportunities or
Mhm.
programs or whatever. It's that they're not taking opportunity in them, and if they
Or
do
they're not
fail,
prepared for it. They're not
Right.
prepared to take the opportunity that's
or
in
if
front
they
of them.
fail, they're not continuing that pursuit.
Yeah, and you
Because
make
failure is the stepping stone to success.
absolutely you make a good point. And people
So-
say about luck,
Up time and
having-
opportunity.
right. Being prepared for that opportunity. The only point that I was making is that we all need each other to help each other to get to places that we need to go. Now, it doesn't mean that you be lazy and not, do what it takes. And, there are a lot of black, brown, white, able-bodied people that's sitting around not doing anything, okay, making babies and doing other stuff. And I'm not saying just throw social programs at people. What I'm saying is that people, everyone, when I made the comment about people pulling themselves from the bootstraps, that everyone can't just do that, doesn't have that, tenacity. Sometimes one person may need a little more help than someone else.
But they
They can.
Yeah, I can't accept that. I can't accept that because I'm look. Go ahead, Austin.
Well, what
because
I
I
would
wanna
say
get
is
to mine.
that all the social programs that we have right now are all the bootstraps.
No, but they're not designed for them to be self-sufficient or self-independent.
Right. I think
That's
and
the
I'll
problem.
agree with you on that.
They're
could
not
be.
for by independence, because when I will protect this saying, because I think it is used as a weapon on the other side. They use it as a weapon on the side because it makes the person, when they hear, okay, you can't pull yourself up from the bootstraps, because they lose the actual message. This man, Booker T. Washington, again, give this man his props. When he was building the college, they were buying bricks, right?
All
And
white
then
bricks.
They were buying bricks. Then he said, yo,
No one
this
caught
is
that.
expensive, buying bricks. How about if we make our own bricks? They started to make their own bricks. Then the machine that they bought that was making the bricks broke down. He had to buy a whole nother machine, right? This is pulling yourself up from the bootstraps.
Well, he's
and his
overcoming
vision,
adversity.
right? He
Well.
overcame adversity. That's the message. That is the message that they do not want black folks to learn and know. Why? Because if black people if they embodied Booker T. Washington's message, you would never depend on the government. You will never depend on these social programs. You never depend on these social grants, where even the grants that they give in the city for housing, it's a catch-22, right? If you get a grant to pay for your house, where you're on the hook for 5-10 years for that $10,000-$15,000 that they give you, you can't pull out any equity lines. You can't do no refinance, because guess what's gonna happen? You got to pay that money back. So there's always this little give and take with the government, and it never works within our favor. So just like, again, the message
So
that
you're saying the government shouldn't do it because it doesn't, or should we redesign the way
without
we
the
do
red
things?
tape, if the government if the government really wants to create individualism, their social programs would not come with caveats. Just to say,
I don't know.
Just think about it. Because go back to welfare.
Okay, so
Go back. Hold on, let me finish.
let's
Go
talk
back
about
to the welfare programs. They would, if the incentive was to help out a single mother,
Mhm.
and allow her to prosper, right?
That's different.
Oh, no.
Yes.
It is exactly what I'm saying, because if you as a mother know that I just got to be single and I can't bring this father back into my house, or I'm going to lose my assistance if my father comes back in, then again, that's not helping the mother. That is keeping her aligned within what they want you. They're controlling that individual. And I just have a problem with that. It does not promote individualism.
That's a crutch. That's not you bettering yourself
Right.
by buying a house. When it comes to a taxpayer helping you to buy a house, there should be something that you have to, lean on the taxpayer and say, look, if I don't perform, then you will get paid back some way, shape, form, or another. But you're also missing a step when it came to what you did back in college. It wasn't just going out there and finding someone to, invest in you. And it wasn't just if they said no, you were going to overcome that objection. And it wasn't just if they still said no, you're going to go out there and find somebody else. It starts with a vision. And if you don't have that vision,
No, you won't make it.
then you don't have that confidence.
Yeah.
And you don't have that confidence, you don't have the ability to go out there and talk to other people. When we started this podcast, when I started a podcast and then you came on,
Yeah, I came on later on.
Later
getting
on.
drunk.
that's fantastic.
Fucking
It
with
worked.
you.
It worked though.
It
Because
did.
I knew where I started. I knew where the podcast started was I'm going to have the tough conversations.
Wait, wasn't Malik your first guest?
No, it was my second one.
Oh,
Um,
fucked up on that.
I knew when I started the podcast that there was going to be tough conversations to be had and that we needed to hold people accountable no matter what spectrum they're on. Then when you came on, I said, okay, I think that there's another dynamic to this where we don't always have to have guests on. We can have the same dynamic within our own conversations. I said literally within a couple weeks of you coming on, me asking you to come on and say, hey, how about you just stay on? How about we just have the same conversations over and over on different topics, and you do your thing, I do my thing, Dan does his thing, Austin jumps in, whatever the hell he feels like, his Satanist ass wants to jump in.
Damn right.
And it provides his own intel on it. And yeah, allegedly. And there's always that dynamic. And I think people that will appeal to people to see that dynamic. And I said to you, I see this as being further than just a podcast. I said, I'm going to make this into a radio show because I feel as though we need to hit more people. I made two calls. One was to the current radio station that we're at, and the other was to probably their biggest competitor. And both of them said, we know who you are. I don't know how we feel about this. You know what? If you pay us this much per week, we'll have you on. And I told them both, I will never pay you any money. You will have me on, and you will pay me to come on. Within 2 years, we made that happen.
Well,
Within 2 years, not even within 2 years, within a year, one of those companies came back and said, we need to have you on the radio station.
because you dope.
Well, first of all,
And-
I agree. But at the same time, you got to have that vision to understand where you want to be in the future, because there's no way that someone would have believed in you if you didn't already have that vision and you had the confidence inside your own head to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is my vision for this. This is where we're going to be. This is potentially how you're going to get your investment back. If you don't get it back, guess what? That's what it is. It's your investment. But you had an investment, or I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you had a vision, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're out there thinking that someone's just going to pay you to do whatever, that's just not how it works. No one's going to pay you because you are you. No one's going to pay you because you have some name behind you. You got to provide some numbers behind it and show how that company is going to have a return on their investment. And that goes for pretty much every facet of every business ever.
But that's the thing. When you're being, bombarded with the can't do, won't even try message from an entire, like, it is the propaganda behind that message to the Black community is the white supremacy that I think people don't want to talk about.
I think it's a soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah, but again, they pay for that propaganda. It is paid for. It is paid and bought for by the people who were back when the BLM shit was going down. You got Nancy Pelosi taking a knee.
With that, what was that fabric that she was wearing on her neck
right.
too?
You got Chuck Schumer.
My God.
You got even the president of the United States, Barack Obama, at the time telling people how hard it is for them. Bitch, you
I
just
think
bought a home.
But you're trivializing real issues, though. These are real issues, and you're just saying, okay, it's propaganda, but it's real life issues that people are dealing with. Just a few minutes ago, I think you guys were just prefacing by saying that you said the open door mission or they want to build bigger facilities because they foresee that people are going to need more help in the future because of the way the economy is going and all those things.
Right.
These are real issues that people are grappling with, and that's affecting people's lives. And, I feel like just throwing things out and saying, oh, it's propaganda or people are race baiting and all that. That's, that's trivializing the issue.
You might be conflating two different issues, though.
Yeah, I'm
But
saying,
also on top of that,
yeah.
I agreed with them and I was willing to work with them because it was the government that did it.
Mhm.
They created the problem. I don't see the entity that created the problem being the force that fixes the problem.
Right.
So when a nonprofit comes to me and says, I want to do this, and it's going to fix the problem that the government has created, I'm behind it. So when Open Door came to me, when Reach Advocacy came to me with their tiny home village that they wanted to build, I said, I'm behind you, because I know that when the government creates a problem, the very last thing we should do is create another entity within the government that's going to create more tax revenue coming in, not producing it, but coming in, meaning we need more of that money from you to pay for that entity that the government created to fix the issue that the government created. I'm not behind that. I'm never behind that. I voted constantly against it, and I'm constantly being lambasted in the media for being the one person that votes against something that is good for the community. And I'm sitting there saying, we created the problem. Why would you look to us to fix it?
Right.
Makes no sense.
Right. And I want to be sure we understand what I say. When I say propaganda, I'm talking about the message. The message is the propaganda. The message is that, we as Black folks, the reason why we are not doing what we, what is expected is because we can't, because there's someone else stopping it. It's because, since, hey, Gino, your name is Gino and you're white, you're privileged. So your privilege is stopping me from doing anything like going on YouTube and learning how to get, and I'm not saying real estate is the only, entity out there to you can prosper, but it's probably one of the easiest to learn and self-educate yourself.
And we got two of y'all.
Right, exactly.
Who are
you got property in Florida, right?
And also,
oh, you got more? Oh, you gotta have one back home too. All right, whatever. Yeah. And listen, and I can't wait to pick your brain, because that's how it happens. So you surround yourself with like-minded people, and do you know how many times I'm being real with y'all. You know how many times I've spoken to so many people like me when I acquired the knowledge that I have. I'm like really like an open book. I'm trying to give it away.
Yeah,
and
to
I'm
people
talking
like
to like my people that
Dupian.
look like me. Oh, exactly. And I'm trying to give them this knowledge.
I said her name. Sorry.
And they're in situations where they hate their job, they hate everything around them. I'm like, yo, listen, why don't you just get into real estate? I have a group. I have a bunch of lessons where you can take your time and read and learn.
For how much?
free.
Woo.
Gave it to them for free.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
guess what happened? They never got back
No.
to me.
Because it's free. That's why.
Because it's free.
I bet if you charge them
Or
$100
you know
bucks.
what it was too is that they had to actually put in the work to fucking read. Like I spent hours upon hours reading and learning. And guess what? I will admit this. I sucked at math. I was terrible at math. But I tell you what, now I love that shit. I love it because a lot of shit with real estate, it's basic math.
Or just put it through an Excel. You can-
Adding, subtracting, multiply, dividing, and just understanding percentages. That's all you need to know within real estate.
Did you need to
Well,
know the
see what you-
hypotenuse?
No, you did not.
Oh, damn.
Did not. But
But you learned a valuable lesson that I think that young people, everyone in our society, and talk about Black people, African Americans, we need to teach this. Black and brown people.
but you gotta want it. You have to
But here's
want it.
the thing: that knowledge and learn the application of it is the foundation of everything else that you need. It can build you wealth. It can
I gotta
get you
disagree.
success.
Gotta disagree.
Knowledge.
No. I think knowledge is the next step. I think you have to have that will
That
inside
power,
of you.
Yeah, you gotta be able to do it.
You have to. There has to be
You
that
gotta be able
will
to apply
inside of a
yourself,
kid.
Smokey.
Well, yeah.
Right. That will. You can look at a kid and say, "You got something to you. All you need is a mentor, and you will be freaking something great."
Oh gosh, thank
I-
God for mine.
Well, exactly.
You already know who my mentor is.
Right. I do. I've met him multiple
Right,
times.
multiple times. Italian guy,
Italian
Joe
guy.
LaBarbera, the one of the best persons you'll ever want to meet. And
He's on billboards.
Yes, Billboard. He's a very, very
Was
amazing
it Joe Buys?
individual. Joe Buys. 1-800 Joe Buys. He was one of the first people I spoke to, one of the first houses I was trying to flip. And ever since that day, the amount of knowledge I received from him, like he should have charged me every minute for his time.
See, both got helped by white guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, the Italians within my lifetime have been wonderful to me. I love my fellow
Putting it out there.
Italian people.
Just putting it out there.
Thank you to all my Italian friends.
It's the lasagna.
I love it. Listen, but it just speaks to human nature. Humans,
Mhm.
if you meet the right human,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That
Yes.
speaks to humanity,
Regardless
itself,
of the skin color.
regardless.
Yeah.
But what is being, again, going back to the propaganda though, that's what I'm saying. Like within our people, you will be shooting yourself in the foot if you go into the mentality of a Mary Lupian, right?
We can't say that name.
Oh, we can't. Well, I just said it. With the individuals who's telling you that, okay, all white people are white supremacists or white privilege and all that stuff, you are shooting yourself in the foot
And
from
you're privileged.
possible opportunity. You're
Well,
walking by that opportunity.
I'm gonna say this though, that we live in a country where historically, Black and brown people have historically been at a disadvantage.
Allegedly.
Okay, no, it's
That
not.
was a good
it's
one.
not
Yeah, you like that one? I was
That
waiting
was
for
a
that
good
one.
one.
I was waiting for that one.
That's a good one.
I mean,
Hold on, because
let's
back
just-
after slavery was
these are just
ended.
facts.
Hold on, after slavery was ended, there was Black ownership of businesses that were going up against whites that own businesses in the South. And the whole reason for unions, the whole basis of unions was because Black businesses were undercutting the costs of white-owned businesses.
And many of those businesses were burnt down.
Why?
You tell me why.
Oh, it was
You know why.
it was certainly that was
Yeah,
racism. Absolutely, I
Exactly,
agree.
Exactly.
So
back
that's
to my
why
point
that's why we have the Second Amendment, so you can shoot the motherfuckers.
But
Damn
back
right.
to my point that yes, Blacks have historically been at a disadvantage in this country. We talked about equity.
Yeah, you're saying historically though. We're talking about 2023
Okay.
now. Are you at a disadvantage today?
Well, I'm not gonna say me.
You're the
personally.
exception to the rule, right? That's right, exactly. You were the lucky one, right? You hit
You
the
were
No,
lotto.
it's not luck.
You were
You
not
hit the
lucky.
lotto. You
Right.
had that scratch off.
But I
You're the
gotta
one.
say, right now,
Right.
there's no disadvantage. There's actually an advantage to be a person of color in this
Oh,
city
I'm
right now.
Historically.
listen, I'm using that
Yeah,
black
but you
card.
can't look at that
ASAP.
anymore. Hell yeah!
Yo, I'm gonna use that black card every day. You reject me for something, you racist.
Right,
You
immediately,
damn white supremacist,
immediately.
you.
Immediately.
Don't empower somebody like me because I will use that shit. Oh my God.
I was.
No, I'm just fucking with you. I ain't gonna do that shit.
You should.
I should though,
You
right?
should say you should put when it asks for your sex, be like, stop asking me, and then say that they're being,
Racist.
whatever the hell the word is nowadays.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, I can't agree with. I understand that there's been a history of it.
Yeah.
But in 2023, when we're literally saying that if you are a person of color, we will give you money to do this, that, and the other.
But you're also saying that. So we're talking about Howard Eagle in that article. You're telling me that
Damn, that was like 3 hours ago.
individual and institutional racism does not exist.
I think it's bullshit. I think the institutional part is bullshit. 100% bullshit.
No, I don't think it's
I think
bullshit.
it's bullshit.
It
Okay, point to it.
exists.
Give an example.
City school district.
Okay, tell me. It's run by black people. Tell me.
Hold on. It's not run by black people. Hold on.
Really?
The city school district is run by black people, but they don't. The city school district does not answer to the actual city school
Bro,
board.
we've
What
had
they answer, hold on.
Okay.
What they answer to is the state board, and then the state board answers to the federal board.
Mhm.
The federal board is not ran by a bunch of black people.
We had Barack Obama in president for 8 years.
We
President.
had hold on. We had
So
Donald
then
Trump.
You mean that
Hold on, we had Donald Trump who could have done something about the Board of Education and the nonsense that goes into what we're going to teach our kids. Donald Trump didn't do anything, did he?
Neither did Barack Obama.
Okay, let's go back even further.
Yeah, but we're going.
Neither has Joe Biden.
We're going to win again for where black folks would love to hang our hat on. All right, this country is racist. That was our point. That's our moment in time. That was our moment in time where anything that we needed for that 8 years, that shit would have been solved. You know, the first person that Barack Obama appointed for the head of the education, a white man. Okay.
Well,
so
guess what? Obama was the president of the United States.
yes, and
not
that
the
is his
president of
right.
black people.
But that is his cop out, right? But then when we look at the things that Trump did, right? There was a bunch of black initiatives that within the business sector, right? Within just the housing sector, he had a black man appointed to the administration of the HUD and housing, right? Within just the business sector, more
Who was
black folks
attacked immediately.
He was attacked, but more black folks owned businesses, more black folks earned
Owned
money.
homes.
The middle class increased within the black community, and also the unemployment rate dropped within the black community.
And then we had COVID.
Oh well,
I didn't have COVID. I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
anyone
I
else
didn't
had,
have
but
just going
that
back
didn't exist
to,
in my life.
Just going back to Obama and administration and the education, conversation. He appointed somebody that was white, and not saying that. Okay, I'm not going to say, all right, that's the reason why nothing happened within his administration. But in the city of Rochester, nothing changed. But in the city of Rochester, we had every superintendent was black. Remember when Broussard, whatever his name was,
Jean-Claude
Jean-Claude Broussard, right? Whatever it was, superintendent. He was horrible, and then he cut and ran to Chicago to go and be underneath the.
He has no power over what these kids are learning.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about representation. So he had the voice. He's the one that can speak up for the community.
Okay.
So within everything that came through from No Child Left Behind, Obama continued that. Right. He moved us into Common Core. And within Common Core, that's not just the worst for black folks. That was the worst. That was the worst policy for all of our students. Right. So it's not just an isolated conversation just for black kids. Black kids aren't the only ones that's affected by our poor education system. All of our kids are fucked up right now because of our education system right now. So we can't just consolidate it and say, okay, black kids are the only ones that are affected. All of our kids are affected right now.
Yeah, they all suck.
They all fucking suck. But what my only gripe with just this argument is, it still goes back to the parents. No matter you black, white, brown, whatever color you are, the parents are in full control over what goes into their child's mind and how we control what our kids know and learn, and we have to be able to support the stuff that the schools are failing our kids. We can't blame the public school system on everything that our kids don't know.
No, because we're not teaching them how to think. And that was one of the first questions. I'll pick up my son from school, and the first thing I'll say, what did they treat you, or what did they teach you today, or what did they try to teach you today? What was happening in your history class? And then when he would say something that I felt as was a little too far left for my liking, I would say, how do you feel about that one? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I want to hear how you see that. And many times he would say, I'm not okay with that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we raised you well.
Yeah, but
you saw it when we had my nephew and Jaden on the podcast.
I was
both of them were on point. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off there.
Just saying, these are complex issues, man. And
It's not that complex, I don't think.
But it's
well,
good that we're having the conversation. You know what
because
I mean?
you talk about parents, and yes, parents. I raised 4 kids. Okay, parenting is very important. Or I should say, my ex-wife raised 4 kids.
No,
I have to give her credit. Just in case she's listening.
Helped. She helped raise with you.
Yeah, right. We raised 4 kids.
There you go.
But nonetheless, the point that I was making was that yes, the parenting piece is important, but it also goes back to this whole, you guys know this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the base there's people that have some foundational needs that are not being met, makes it hard for them, and then you've got complicated with kids having kids, and you've got a 13-year-old having having a child. So what I'm saying is that these issues are complicated, and then you've got the school, Rochester City School District, and all these things. So
complicating even worse.
Yes.
Well, within comparison, what they used to do back in the day, if you were black and you were picked up a book, you would get hung, right? Like that's consequences, right?
That's complicated.
That's complicated, right?
Complicated.
That's not the situation today, but they can walk down to the public library if there's a will, if there's someone directing, like, yo, you know what? You need to go pick up a book. Yo, go to this library. You can pick out a book for free. Just bring it back.
Yeah, it had porno in it too.
Depends on which library you go to, right? But but that's today. That's going on right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
they're trying to dumb our kids down even further.
Yeah, exactly. But it takes a community to where we just have to find those kids that want that direction.
Did you just say it takes a village?
Oh, absolutely. It does. It absolutely does. Because with everybody's story, there's somebody outside of your family circle that has been there for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's been there, be like, yo, hey, you're a good kid. Yo, you know what? Hey, why don't you? Do you know who this person is?
Well, I remember it used to be the neighbors. Now the neighbors don't want to talk to each other.
No, that's true. Well, not where my mom's at. Yo, they got a fucking
they're all outside.
They got a bomb ass little community up over where my mom's
but that's a community that cares.
Yeah, exactly. But they still exist.
Right now, we have. If you come into the city, no one knows who their neighbor is.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a well, in some.
Yeah, in some, obviously, there's going to be some pockets, obviously, but for the most part,
do you think the government? Do you think within just the mayor and everybody else within the city? Do you think they should be promoting that?
It has nothing to do with them.
No, I know. I'm not saying, but should they were promote other shit. The government, our government right now is promoting, systemic racism.
Yeah, I think that there could be an easy way out. Meaning, if you want to have a block party, we'll give you $100.
We don't even have block parties no more. Do you see? When's the last block?
Because of COVID.
I haven't seen a block party.
You know what? Hold on. They were doing. Hold on.
7th Street. They have block parties.
They were doing block parties during COVID when it first came out, and they were staying up all night saying it was for vigils.
Oh well. Oh, you didn't like that?
No, I didn't.
You spoke out against that.
I sure did.
That's when you became the racist.
Yeah, I obviously am a racist. So when you speak out about issues and you're not of that color, they'll automatically claim you're a racist. And you're sitting there saying, I'm sitting there saying, well, someone's got to say something. Someone has to say something that makes sense here, because we can't have this any longer. We can't allow this any longer. And I'm on the other hand here saying these block parties need to come back to where neighbors know who each other are, because what was happening during the vigils was that I'm putting air quotes here because they're just saying that someone died 10 years ago and they're going to throw a vigil for that person 10 years later. And all they're doing was, drinking bottles in the middle of the street.
Let them be great, bro.
Stop. That's not greatness. That's not. Let me promise you right now. Smoking weed and drinking freaking Hennessy is not greatness. I'm not saying that's. Someone's gonna take that clip and say that's all black people do, but I'm not.
Be careful, bro.
Yeah. Well, me and my family we drink Remy, I guess, and so that doesn't produce greatness either. Smoking weed and drinking Remy doesn't produce greatness either.
Sometimes some of the greatest thoughts come from a blunt and a shot.
God, fine. Just sometimes, yes.
Yo, do you know how many great albums Tupac probably done produced from some?
You're not gonna equate Tupac to the vast majority of black musicians out there.
Did you listen to Dear Mama?
D did not.
Oh, dear Lord.
All eyes on me, me against the world. Machiavelli.
We are not going to equate a man that was raised by a freaking Black Panther woman to what's happening in these streets today with these kids who are being raised by a man that thinks it's a woman.
Use a blood clot hater.
Yeah, I am. I am. That I am. That I am. My God, we went off track on all of the topics I was going to discuss tonight.
Keep going, Jose. It's the 100th fucking episode, and
It
we
is.
got cut off like mad times too. So
Yeah, I blame Aaron. White supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We already had these discussions.
Since we have someone that's from the written word in the city, what I woke up to today was the Democrat Chronicle. They send me an email showing what's the topics of the week, right? The top topics of the week. You know what the first thing that popped up this morning was? Austin, go ahead and show it. This is the daily briefing today. That was not someone farting. That was somebody moving next to me. That was not me. I swear.
They picked that up.
Everybody. This was a Democratic Chronicle stating that this was like the top article of the week. How many New Yorkers are getting new COVID vaccine?
Oh, shit.
Here's why we don't know yet. The initial CDC report on a number of New Yorkers getting new COVID vaccines expected by early October. Where was any kind of reporting? Where were you guys? How were you guys with reporting when it came to COVID? Because I'll be honest, I was not reading what you guys were putting out there.
Well, we were considered essential services.
Uh-huh.
So media, we were still operating, though we weren't in the office.
But how were you reporting that specific topic when it came to COVID vaccines? Whatever Dr. Mendoza said? Or were you given any kind of leeway? Or do you feel like if you were taking any kind of leeway, you would automatically be kind of banned, and so therefore you couldn't step outside the norm?
Well, like for us as in kind of an independent grassroots media company, we can report on things the way we need to, frankly. And so regarding the COVID, here's the thing. It's hard. There's a difference between, I think the question is asking about editorializing versus, reporting facts. It's a whole lot of editorial.
What's the difference between editorializing? I don't know these words.
Editorial is really about opinion.
Okay.
And so people watch the news today and they're not able to differentiate that that's not a news report, but that's a person sharing their opinion.
Do you think that's a lot?
Different. Oh, it's a lot of that, and people are not. I don't want to say sophisticated enough, but don't have enough understanding to recognize that. Hey, you're not listening to a news program. You're listening to an opinion program.
They don't have discernment, I feel, anymore.
Well,
they can't discern what's
yes
fact. That's all right.
What happened?
He had.
Repeat that question again.
You're a monolith,
right?
Yeah, y'all using big words right now after a bunch of shots.
Well, the point is that there are various perspectives in the black community.
But did
Everybody don't think
hold
the
on?
same.
But did your paper allow the various perspectives?
Oh, we do. And so for many years, we have had a columnist. If you read the paper, you're probably familiar with Reverend Michael Vaughn,
Mhm.
who was African American, evangelical, a Trump supporter. He wrote columns for our paper for.
I didn't know he was a Trump supporter.
Oh yes, for about 8-10 years.
Okay, you
He-
fired him
he-
because he was a Trump supporter.
No, he moved to Texas,
Okay,
and so a couple years
There's a
ago.
reason
and,
why for
and-
that, I bet.
And yeah. And then we had people writing columns like Howard Eagle. And so I've always
Never heard of him.
And guess what? I would be criticized because I had someone like Michael Vaughn writing columns. Well, why do you have him writing for your paper? Well, because he shares a perspective that's important. And because it's also freedom of speech. People, as a publication, I'm not here to censor people's opinion. We label it as opinion. It's an opinion piece, and then when we write a news report, we try to write it on, try to be balanced and try to write it based on facts and give people information.
What about instead of providing on facts, you provide 2 editorials on each topic where you have? Damn, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Still, like what we're doing, what you guys do on a regular basis is editorialize.
Facts.
You've
Straight
got your,
facts.
you
You're
got
lying to everybody right now. It's straight facts, everybody.
fake
Don't
news.
listen to this.
100%.
Don't listen to
news, right?
this. Fake news guy right here.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm all facts, bro.
Thank you, Octavio. Straight facts.
Don't confuse
But-
with the other guy.
Yeah. We ain't that middle of the mall shit.
But
Word.
okay, so the report that we did today, although
That was
that
editorial.
we talked about, Howard Eagle.
Yes.
Now that's a news report. So if you go through it,
Hold on.
what
was it? What was the title again?
We will provide quotes, but one of the things that we try to do is share factual information.
Okay.
Okay, and not editorial. This was not our opinion saying, we're writing an article say Howard Eagle is a great guy. No, we're putting out information on balance to say, okay, these are the issues. He was removed from 2 committees, the Race Commission, the Real Team.
Mhm.
He had issues with them. They cited issues. Why? We put that information out there. We didn't take any sides on it. And then we talked about who he is as a person, gave him an opportunity to share his perspective on various things, and that's that. Without editorializing.
I don't
or-
know. Hold on. Let's read the first paragraph.
Sure.
You tell me if this is
Which I wrote
editorializing.
myself.
Yes. Tell me if this is one-sided or is this fair and balanced? Talking about Mr. Howard Eagle. Anyone informed about issues surrounding education, politics, or community activism in Rochester, New York, has heard the name Howard Eagle. The local educator, I was going to say communist activist, but community activist,
Thank you.
and race warrior, is one of the leading voices locally in matters of race and racial equality. But while revered for some of his community advocacy work, he is considered by many to be one of the most controversial members of the Rochester community.
So you think that's opinion?
That's certainly
That's
opinion.
100% opinion.
100% opinion.
Because there's so many.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this.
That-
and I'll
that's
say
not.
this.
If you were to ask City
Yeah, I'll say
Council to describe Howard Eagle, that's not what they would
Yeah, it
say.
is. And there's so many people before him that did so much more, right, within this city. I think we.
But that was
champion-
not a contrast between him
I'm
and
just,
other people before
yeah, I'm
him
just
neither.
no, I understand that, but I'm just saying though, like within just this current environment, right, to be labeled an activist, it seems like it's a fucking badge of honor when you could be peddling misinformation, right?
But
you
that
could
wasn't
be
the point.
peddling.
He is an activist though. It's
Yeah, but
So
so
who's
what?
not an
Like, what is he? What are
activist?
you?
Well,
but what are you-
Austin is
what
an
he-
activist for
so
Satanism. That doesn't mean he should be glowed
What
about.
is he? And I'm just,
I will always go with.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm just,
but
I'm just
you're
trying to
saying
have.
something is
I love you, Austin.
opinion where that it's just describing a person and how people view him. He is revered by many people.
What are
while
the
he's-
results though?
But that's not the point. The point that we're making is differentiating between fact and opinion. He's revered by some. He is despised by others. That's what we wrote.
Sounds like he's a narcissist too to me. Just saying.
What?
You can form your opinion of,
Yeah,
of who
Hold
he
on,
is
Austin,
based
I
on
want to hear
that.
Austin. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Austin.
Austin.
Okay, because the sentence at the end of it is that he is viewed by many people as a controversial figure, right? That's the final sentence of that.
After the glowing. Yeah.
Right.
Paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're presenting other people's opinions as news. You're coloring the opinion of the article by presenting many people say this and presenting
Exactly.
that as news. But that in and of itself provides like an opinion to the audience. It's what you're not saying I think this, but you're saying, oh, many people think this, and that in and of itself is an editorial.
Yeah, but
move.
it's also a statement of fact because many people do think that.
Right, but it's not
Do many people think the opposite?
And many people
But-
think the opposite as well.
Yeah, but
Sure.
that's not what it says.
right. You presented
say
one
that.
opinion.
It does say it says
to-
both.
We're not gonna hammer down on that one. What I am gonna hammer down on is what we're missing in this city.
Mm-hmm.
What I believe we're missing in this city, and I believe we're missing in this country, period, is having a, let's just say, a media company that says, look, we're going to go ahead and show both sides. We're not going to go down the middle at all. We're not going to be down the middle. We refuse to be down the middle. We're going to show you what some people say, and we're going to show you what some people say, and you're going to make your own decision based on the facts outlaid to you by both sides. That's what I would personally love to see, because that's what I'm trying to do with the podcast by having a black Republican on. I'm not pointing to you. I'm pointing at him. Black Republican on.
I am the unicorn.
A Latino Democrat on, and a not white supremacist, very white liberal guy on.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take that.
You'll
I
take that
guess.
one. You'll take that one on. All right.
Not white supremacist. That's better.
See, but that's
But
the
you're-
editorial. That's the editorial on it.
Yeah.
And you're still, making my point. But
What's that?
while revered by some, from
Mhm.
my Howard Eagle, a statement of fact, while revered by some for his community advocacy work, he is considered by many to be one of the most
Well,
controversial
but
members.
What news are you portraying with this article? Like what is, because that sounds like you're
This is
you're
first of
driving
all-
it toward a point,
right, because this is
which is in itself an editorial move. News doesn't have a point; it just presents the events as they happened.
Mm-hmm.
Editorials provide a point, and what it sounds like that you're doing with that is providing or driving an audience toward an opinion.
Well, it's a feature, first of all.
Okay.
So we're featuring this particular community member and sharing a profile on who this person is and how people view them.
I want you to
Okay.
do a feature on Lavelle Lewis and have
I would
the beginning to
Ye-
say
It's funny.
anyone informed about issues surrounding education, politics, or community activism in Rochester has heard the name Lavelle Lewis. The local
One of your
educator,
guests has-
community activist,
yeah.
and race warrior is one of the leading voices locally in matters of race and racial equality. I would love to see that
I
yeah.
will say
for
this.
him.
Shanique, one of your soldiers, she knows my my family's history here
Mhm.
within the city.
Okay.
Right. I've been having this little conflict with a lot of people who've migrated to Rochester much later than a lot of my ancestors here in the
Mhm.
city. And I'm willing to bet that Howard Eagle is also one of those individuals whose family migrated to this city post civil rights era. Right. So I think there's a disconnect with a lot of people who have migrated into the city in different parts of our history.
Mhm.
And I've had multiple conversations with Shanique about, my history. And I think for me, in knowing where I come from, that's why I have a conflict with a lot of folks who have migrated later, because again, they don't know this city's DNA. They don't know the full history. They don't know why a lot of things are the way they are right now. They don't know why a lot of Black folks in this city have had opportunities, and there was a foundation of Black business ownership in the city pre-civil rights. So I have a conflict with folks like Howard Eagle, because I know that true history. I know our city's true history. And
Yeah,
I'm saying, but
right.
but again,
And
that
perhaps-
point in time is never highlighted. It's always people like Howard Eagle who are pushed up to the forefront and celebrated as these heralded people, but it's not this. It doesn't tell the whole picture of this city. So if you want to be fair to that conversation of white supremacy, and then we feature folks who call themselves activists, it opens the door for fake activists like our current, people who are sitting on city council and other folks who just attach your name as an activist, and all of a sudden you're being looked at as someone who's making a difference, and that's not true.
So here's the thing, yes, there are many individuals who have gone on before, who have done tremendous things, or people, I just say in the history of Rochester. I can go on and name, Franklin Florence and other
What
people
decade
who
are we
has.
talking?
Well, I'm just saying it just in general. You can go even further back. The point that I'm making is seems like you're criticizing an article that we wrote about a person who is doing something now, whether people like him or not. He is involved in the community. He is currently very vocal on issues around race, whether you agree or disagree. He is a relevant voice and a relevant person in the community and involved in those conversations right now, and that's what we were doing. Now we've done articles on other individuals, and we will continue to do that.
I'm sure you will. Yeah.
One of the things you talked about, Frederick Douglass, our first edition of Minority Reporter that came out, and that article is still on my website. I'm going to pull it up. The title was "Rochester Continuing a Legacy of African American Publishers." We talked about Frederick Douglass. We talked about
Thank you.
The Blunts with About Time magazine. We talked about Frederick. Did I say Frederick Douglass?
You did. Did you talk about John W. Thompson?
I don't think he was included in.
I'm
in
pretty
that
sure it
particular-
wasn't. I know for a fact he wasn't. But that's what I'm saying.
But there's always gonna be somebody.
There's
you're
always
not
gonna be somebody.
Yeah.
What? Not saying that, and I'll hold you accountable to that. But what I'm saying though is, we have names, but also there are stories behind these individuals. And what I'm saying is, though, the foundation that was laid for folks like Howard Eagle, they're not speaking to that legacy, and a lot of things that the legacy that they're speaking to does not apply to this city.
They're
That's all I'm
speaking to the
saying.
fear, not the love. I
Yeah,
think
they're
is
not
what
the
you're
love,
saying.
and they're not.
We do have a comment from the audience, or maybe a question.
No,
Oh, there he is.
I was agreeing with Dave in that it was written. It was suggestive. Was it factual? Yes, it was factual because you were saying what other people were saying.
Right.
But it was suggestive.
Yeah, it's like someone,
To
if they
what?
wrote an article saying Jose, one of the most beautiful people in the city of Rochester. Yeah, some people believe that,
What type of
myself
shit is that?
included.
What type of shit is that? That's opinion piece?
No, I
your
think
mom and
I think that's
Edna,
factual.
It's factual?
That's
and then the rest
factual
of us.
because some
opinion
people
piece,
do
bro.
believe that.
But
It's
to your
bullshit.
point, it was. So depending on where you're sitting. So I guess my question is, as far as what is your opinion of this gentleman that was written about? Since you wrote that first paragraph, I think it's hard to not write it as an opinion or suggestive as it was. But to your defense, letter of the word, it was editorial.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Whenever you write something, you try to be as objective as possible.
I don't.
Okay. But there, of course, everyone has, certain nuances and what have you. Now, we wrote it from a point of also having information. Okay.
Inside
Information. Like, I knew for a fact that he's had multiple, probably hundreds of online conversations and online debates with people like
myself.
Lavelle and other people who despise him. So we know people
I don't
despise him.
despise him. I just
don't despise him either.
disagree
Maybe I
with
say
him.
or disagree.
Yes.
But some people and that's what we were trying to highlight, that yes, many people, and that is a fact. Many people look at him as a very controversial person because of his approach, his tactics, and that's what we wanted to highlight.
That's such a nice way of
But-
putting it. That's such a nice
but
way of putting
on
it.
on the other hand, other people revere him and look to him for leadership and call upon him when they have issues that they need to be dealt with. They call upon him. So how do you write? You have to craft an article like that by showing,
100%. That's why I was
Artistry.
trying to defend you in that, because I do believe that letter of the word, it was written. I think whatever side of the fence you're on, you're going to read it that way.
Mm.
But letter of the word, it is editorial. It is also suggestive.
How did you hear it?
I heard it? Well,
As an independent person, you probably did you have any idea who this person is?
I have no
All right,
idea who
see?
who the person is.
Okay.
So that's why I so I listened to both sides,
Right.
and I
How dare you?
right.
I know, right?
Well, we're gonna drink and still
What
be
color
friends
are you?
after.
What color are you doing?
I'm
listening?
Italian color.
Oh, there you go.
He's North African. North African.
Yeah, North Africa.
3 more days and it's our month.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
You guys have a month?
Right,
October. I just found out myself today.
For real?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is it? So
October.
what do we sauce all
3
month?
more days.
Sauce all month?
Sauce all
Jose's
month?
getting
Sauce
sauce
all month?
every day.
Oh,
Sauce
damn,
in
oh, no.
October?
No, so but back to Jose's
Finally?
question. Jose
Carbs
asked
and
me
beef?
what was my opinion, and as you read it,
Mhm.
it was suggestive to me
Mhm.
that it was an opinion piece. As Dave then and Austin also, we went back to what the actual verbiage was, and it is editorial. So I can really see both sides, and I think if letter of the word, it's editorial. It was written in a suggestive way, I feel, because of the examples that were given, and then there's 2 or 3 examples of positivity, and then one disclaimer at the end,
That kind of
making it
goes the other side.
editorial.
Yeah, I can.
So I hear both sides. So I get how you're defending it, and I don't disagree with that it's editorial. So
I didn't
and
read the
that's-
article.
and that's hard. And
I went through it.
that's hard.
I was just looking for my quote in the entire
and
article.
I
it
don't.
was probably it wasn't in there.
No.
I'm,
You took my quote out.
I'm,
Yeah, because
You asked me for a quote and I didn't even put it in there.
Well,
He said, "Fuck
we
your
made it-
quote, bro."
Damn,
Fuck
it's
your
racist.
quote.
He's racist,
Amazing.
right?
Fuck your quote.
Are you racist?
Fuck your
You
quote.
hate Puerto
ain't-
Ricans?
You're
Now-
not a
now
part of
you
the
have the
conversation,
answer.
Jose.
Now here's the thing. I decided that we weren't going to put other people's opinion in
You
the piece.
literally did.
Yes, and so
You started it with it.
no quotes. I'm saying quotes from other people because I put a quote from you about Howard, then I got to put a quote from other. So we just
You
decided
didn't have
that-
to. You could just
yeah.
took my quote and be like, "Yo, what do you guys think about this?"
Jose's the only one that matters.
Because again, we wanted it to be a profile on the man and his work, and also the controversy around his work, because he is a controversial figure in the city of Rochester.
I hate the fact we're still talking about him. I
Yeah,
honestly hate the fact we're still talking about
he
him.
is.
Bro.
Nonetheless, he's relevant.
He's not.
I don't
He
think
is
so.
He's
relevant.
not. He
I
has
really
lost
don't think
every
so.
race he's ever ran.
I don't think so. I don't think he's
Doesn't
relevant.
make him
Every
doesn't make him
single
I don't think he's
irrelevant.
relevant
one.
because
Yes.
how much of what he does is about empowering black people? Be honest.
Well, that's your opinion. and
No,
not
I'm
gonna-
just
I'm not
asking.
gonna
No,
say-
no. I'm
um,
just asking the
you-
question.
well, you'll need to ask him that.
Yeah,
because-
we're not going to
but-
do. We're not
but-
going
all right, well,
to.
then
We're not
what-
going to go
what-
after
hold on,
somebody.
but
on
what
this
I will
podcast.
say is that what I have seen is him championing, including, this whole thing with, remember the Denzel, the carousel at
Oh God, you're not
that
going
had
to.
all of
that
that.
thing?
Okay,
Okay.
All right, let's hold on.
But-
Okay,
but-
let's bring that up because
right.
that has nothing to do with Howard Eagle.
among
Let's bring up-
other things, championing causes.
Did that matter to you?
And individuals.
Did that matter to you? Did
Well-
that panel that you probably did not know exist?
Actually, I did because
Okay.
someone brought it to my attention.
Okay, so you knew it
prior to-
existed.
We didn't do a story on that at the time, but then Howard and the
The Take It
folks-
Down
yeah.
community
Take It
or
Down
Take
community,
It Down
yeah.
committee, right? Okay, so
Mhm.
did you care about it? Honestly,
Did I personally?
you obviously did
Well,
not
I
enough
think-
because you didn't write about it.
Yeah, but I think it's an issue. That's why it was taken down.
But you didn't write about it.
We did write about it. We wrote about it.
But you say you
while-
knew about it before the.
Yeah, someone mentioned it.
It's,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
funny
we
you
did.
mentioned that because that's where I had to tit for tat with him regarding it, and I'm like, yo,
Did you care about it?
No, I really didn't. That's where he got pissed off because it seemed like his fucking baby. Yo, pick your poison. Yo, we're killing each other at an alarming fucking rate. You're talking about a goddamn picture on a carousel, bro.
Yeah, but guess
No,
what?
no,
Those
let
are-
him. I want to finish
those are
because
two separate
because yeah,
issues.
those are two separate issues.
they're separate issues, but at the same time, you're using it as a reason why a community, a people is where they are.
No, I look at it differently. I look
No,
at
no,
it. Hold
But
on, hold
listen,
on, hold on.
Two truths can exist at the same
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
No, you're
yes,
true.
we're
You're
killing
right.
each other.
You are
Hold
right.
Yes,
on,
that's
hold
true.
on, hold on, hold on.
You're right.
I
Was
felt
that a
as if
racist?
I felt as if it was a diving board for him, meaning he could use that one
So
small
easy.
picture that's been there for 100 years that no one said anything about, that no one cared about. You said you knew about it before it even became an issue, and then they had to create an entire committee before you finally wrote about it, which means you really didn't really care about it, just from my perspective. I didn't care about it. It's in my community because I'm looking at it. I'm like, I have no idea what that even means. I didn't know it was a racist thing. I was like,
Race
that's
hustling.
probably race. I have no idea. If someone really cared about it, someone would probably bring it up. But it
guess
was
what?
there for 100 years. And there's still a picture in City Hall that they have yet to take down. And no one has said anything about it. No one has created a fuss about it.
Yeah, but it does.
Do you know it exists? Hold on. Do you know it exists?
No, I'm not. I'm
In
not
City
sure
Hall?
what you're
Well,
referring to.
I'm telling you right now, there's a
Yeah.
picture in City Hall
Uh-huh.
that exists. Do you know about it?
I know about it. I used to look at it every single day when I
Okay.
worked.
Do you care about it?
No, I don't.
Well, hold on. Do you care about it? Do you not care about it because you don't care about anything?
No, I don't care about it. The reason why I don't care about it because I think there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay. Well, you can't do that though.
But here's the thing: bigger fish to fry. Yes,
Yeah.
doesn't make it irrelevant.
Right.
Doesn't make it not racist.
It is a moment in time in history. Period. It's a factual part of history.
But that's not my issue. My issue is if it mattered that much and we have an entire City Hall filled
Mhm.
with black people and no one has said anything, then
It's-
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No.
I mean, if you were to put something racist against Hispanics, if you were to just put the word spick down on freaking Clinton Avenue and everybody sees it and not a single freaking person says anything about it, then no one freaking cares about it. At that point, no one cares.
But just to provide context of what it is, because Striker One Bravo was asking,
We
What's
haven't
the
even gone
picture?
through everything here.
right? He's asking what's the picture. So there's a photo in City Hall right above.
Can you look it
the-
up, Austin? It's the picture of the Denzel carousel.
But
No,
the
we're talking
photo,
about the picture in City Hall. that you
yeah,
brought
but
up.
he's gonna pull that up. But the
Pull
photo,
that up too.
the photo in City Hall, it's this big portrait of Nathaniel Rochester on his transition to Rochester, and he has a group of followers. Right, he's on horses, and within the horse there's a carriage where a black woman is leading that voyage.
Yeah, but that's a picture, right?
Yeah, right. It's the same thing. It's a picture.
It's not the same thing.
No, but again, if we're going to try and erase images that depict black people in positions where they are the oppressed, right? We all know. Okay, they're saying Nathaniel Rochester owned slaves. She was a servant or worker for Nathaniel Rochester. She wasn't anything
Yeah,
other
but that
than
was a picture of something that actually happened.
oppressive situations where they're trying to wipe that off of the face of the earth, then why again, where the majority of black politicians and leaders are walking past this photo,
Well, I actually
and they don't.
disagree.
Well, take a look at the photo for yourself.
No,
I would
but
say go to City Hall and look at it.
This
and
is
then
the reason you're familiar with Emmett Till. When after his murder, his mother wanted people to see those images. She wanted them to see the image for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was important. So if that's a real life image of racism and discrimination. Now, it's different when someone draws an image portraying someone in a derogatory way or something like that, but versus something that's actually factual or something that actually
There's that's the,
picture.
you have it up for everyone to see.
Can you zoom in a
Awesome.
little bit? I just want to know, like, what
That was the one at the carousel, because there's no picture on the internet and no one talking about the picture at City Hall at all. There's nothing. But that's the picture that they were talking about taking down at the carousel. That was up for 100 years.
I mean, it's easy. It is definitely easy ammunition for an activist, especially within today's climate.
It's an easy diving board
easy
for someone
target.
that wants to jump in and be called what did you call him? Activist? Yeah.
But you guys are also belittling the fact that the image is racist. I mean, let's be clear. It's created because of hate.
All right, so let's talk about that, because I want to get your definition of racism here. I see a obviously big-lipped black child who is as tall as a chicken. Rooster. So is the racist part the big lips?
It's the exaggeration of the exaggeration of the photo, and I totally
help me with that, because I want people to understand, because I don't understand the
I
racist.
I understand
behind it.
the insensitivity side of the drawing, but
Insensitivity does not mean racist. I need to hear,
first of all,
what is a racist part?
Historically in this country, in art, in movies and things, there's been a portrayal of black people in a very derogatory way.
But it's still going on today.
But it doesn't matter.
Okay, good. No, explain that. Explain that for people out there that don't understand. What does the derogatory way mean here? Is it the lips? Because what else is there? I want to know what else is there.
It's all of that. You see how dark they are. The eyes are big. The lips. The big
hair?
chicken. The picking in. Yeah, all of that.
So why isn't there a push to end the over exaggeration of black homosexuality within movies today?
Yeah, but why is the sky blue?
No, I'm just asking a question. If we're going to be consistent, if we're going to be consistent, we want to go back in time. We want to take this down, but there's nobody standing up for the over sexualization of within the black community of homosexuality, transsexuality, a lot of these different things. But there's no. I've yet to hear.
That's another issue.
Well, hold on. Because
at the same time,
all I'm saying, if you want to be an activist, then activate. Activate.
Because I can see where you're probably going with this. Because I needed to know a little bit more information behind that, because I'm just not someone that looks at racism. I've, growing up and then going to West Rondequoit, I was the Puerto Rican, in my opinion. I was a Puerto Rican that didn't really fit anywhere.
I think it was like maybe three Puerto Ricans in West Rondequoit.
But I was okay everywhere. Like I wasn't, I didn't, it wasn't that I was the first person that was invited to anything, but I wasn't also the last person. It was just, you're kind of in that limbo department. And growing up, I kind of realized that, hey, at some point, you're going to be the person that maybe sticks out, maybe doesn't stick out. Depending on where you are, depending on what you do, you may or may not be someone who kind of fits in all the time, and that's okay. So I've always been kind of like that person that is able to adapt to where I am, because I would rather be cool and not freaking have to deal with nonsense. That's really, I don't like nonsense. I don't like be the freaking person that brings up stupid stuff just to bring up stupid stuff.
So I wanted to.
Hold on, and then, but I think I know where you're saying, because when we're talking about the overgeneralization of the black community, I see it in rap videos today, where if we were to watch rap videos, I automatically, if I were someone who did not know anything about black people, I would automatically assume that all black women were promiscuous. I would assume that all young black kids are all gangbangers, that they're all shooting guns, that they're all stealing vehicles, seeing from what's going on in the news. I would have an assumption of things. So if we're going to sit here and assume certain things about a picture and create a whole committee around take it down, then when are we going to take down everything else that that pictures the black community in a negative way.
Well, here's the thing. Again, I'm going to go back to the fact that
And that might be something that
right.
I'm not black, so I might
two
be speaking out
things
my ass on this
can
one. I have
be
no idea.
true at the
Okay.
same time. Okay. Now I want to read something to you about the word pickaninny, so you understand. Pickaninny is a pidgin word for a small child, like in that picture, possibly derived from the Portuguese pequenino. It has been used as a racial slur for African American children and a pejorative term for Aboriginal children of the Americas. Okay, so that's kind of the context of that whole using the pigeon, putting the pigeon there. It's a racist image.
That's a rooster, though.
Well, rooster, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
it's just a racist image, and so I'm not going to defend it.
but you had to look it up though.
And say, well, no, I wanted to read to you guys,
What the
term was.
Gotcha.
So I'm not gonna.
I've heard the term pickaninny. I didn't really understand what the hell that
Right.
meant.
So I'm not gonna look at that image and say, oh, because people in the community have not tackled another racial issue, then why are they tackling this one? Well, now we're like equivocating.
Well, let me ask this: did you have a problem with Uncle Ben's being on the box of rice
Well,
Or Aunt Jemima.
or Aunt Jemima?
here's the thing, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to defend every racist image or say, oh, I have a problem, because I'm not sure exactly where you're going with that.
No, I'm
But
just saying that
the point
they were taken down because for this very same reason.
So you're saying as a black man, you're fine with a racist image being portrayed in a park with kids, black kids, white kids, everybody going
That's a
through
great question. That's a fair question.
And you're okay with that?
I'm not okay with it in the sense of where it bothers me, right? Because within just
Is that a problem though?
is it a problem if it offends people, right?
Mhm.
And this is and
It
you have
clearly
enough,
did.
right? It offends people. It doesn't offend me, right? To the point where
Mhm.
I'm going to create this whole platform where I become this, activist, and okay, these are the fights we need to fight and battle. No, it doesn't bother me in that sense, because what it does is opens the door for now you're gonna wipe away everything else that depicts a black person on any type of way, like again, Uncle Ben's, Aunt Jemima, right? And then you take these people off, and then you within Cheese's ad you put RuPaul on the box, right? You know what I'm saying?
The thing. These are all important debates and important issues to have. But I tell you what, I don't want my kids growing up in an America that portrays black people in derogatory ways, and that they have to go through. So these are battles and things that really needs to be addressed. Are we going to have a perfect society?
Oh, hell no.
All
Never.
right,
No,
so
because,
hold on, but when a comedian is put in a dress,
What about it?
That's a
derogatory
way. It's the same thing. Like we pick and choose when we want to kind of
speak up
advocate
and
speak
yeah.
out for, but yet when something that is designed to destroy the nuclear family, when it's designed to kind of, there's like a whole spiritual sense to a lot of stuff that's going on, right?
which
Where-
mostly the black community is very spiritual.
Right. And then there's nobody speaking up about high abortion rates within the black community. That's derogatory.
Well, that was a jump.
Well, don't
No,
say,
it's not. There's no
A little
one
bit of a
doing it,
jump.
but it's still derogatory, right?
But
Because
you just said
it's
there's
promoted.
no one. Of course, there are people speaking up about that, about those issues.
Are they
Okay.
activists?
I'd like to know.
There are people speaking up about many issues in the community. All these issues that you brought up, there's people protesting about. We talk about black on black crime.
But I'm not gonna
How
call
many
Cat
visuals
Williams.
do you-
I'm not gonna call Cat Williams an
know,
activist,
Visual
though.
every corner. Yeah.
I'm not calling Cat Williams
They're
an
not
activist.
activists.
Now,
Right.
if we want to have a debate about rap music and whether it's good for the community or
Let's have a
not,
debate. Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah.
Not
Tell
not
us, what do you
today.
think? What do you listen to? With your Gucci hat. What do you listen to?
Right.
You know what? I've had this hat
I'm gonna bring it up
for
every time.
like 2 years.
Mhm.
I think I
First
wore
time
it
wore it?
one time.
And then today
And
you were.
For some reason, I don't know why I put this hat on today. I do not know
You
why.
knew
I
you were
put
gonna be on
this hat
camera.
on.
You're like, I'm a
No.
floss. I'm a floss room.
Look,
I'm a floss room.
I expect an editorial on rap in the black community on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And Lavelle as being an activist,
Yo,
a black activist who's
I'm-
misunderstood.
Listen, I am definitely hated about, I don't want to say hated, but disliked by a lot of folks within the Black community, because again, I'm challenging arguments, right? And I'm just trying to,
Like Howard Eagle.
yeah, and I'm just trying to elevate us away from just one way. We're always in one argument, one situation where, again, we're such a strong, diverse community. We have so many different strengths within what we do, but it seems like we kind of just fall into this victimized, space. You know what I mean? Like we can fight those type of situations, right? And okay, yeah, I'm not saying that what he did is wrong, right? And all right, you see something that you don't like, all right, you speak up on it, good. But to just paint the entire society as just that right there, that proves the point of white supremacy and what it is.
And I have a problem
with
what someone does.
And that's what
that
is
is what
being
someone
done.
does.
I don't think that's
We get one more shot
the
because
issue
we're here
there.
for-
Painting the entire community.
Well, that's what they use. That's ammo. That's why that proves the point. See, we told you that they're racist.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying. Hold on. Let me finish.
that the image is
Within
not,
that, I'm just within the argument I had with him. He used that as his point.
Okay.
That was his point, that the city of Rochester is racist, and that's why
Inherently racist.
inherently
and it's ran
racist.
by
I'm
white
like,
supremacy.
yo, bro, but at the same time, we're focusing on that. How many times you visited the Frederick Douglass Monument and read what's on the side of it? Right?
How many
Not
people,
a lot.
how many people
Yeah,
have done that?
Yeah, how many people have done it? But that's
Right.
but
I've
that
never-
proves the point. That's not racist. But if you go there and represent it, that shows progress. That shows that, yo, we put a former slave on a pedestal. You know what I mean? So within that, yes, that's a black guy. That's a black guy, right? That's exactly what they were doing during Looney Tunes, all the Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah.
You know, you watch Tom and
Warner
Jerry
Brothers.
back in the day.
Yep.
You
Warner
watch
Brothers, Disney.
Right, Disney. So they were perpetuating us and putting us in these situations, just
Dumbo.
like they're still doing today within Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a
within
different.
Hollywood,
It's a different way.
different blackface.
Same thing.
The new blackface is the Nas X. The new blackface is, a lead role has to be a black homosexual. A lead role has to be a black transsexual. So they've always been using these images to put us in these situations, these positions where we are just out of the norm. We don't really align with society.
You don't
know what I
don't
mean?
fit in, and therefore
We
you
don't
are
fit in,
different.
right.
Just like rap music, you don't fit in, so therefore being different is better.
Right, exactly.
And that's I don't disagree with that.
You listen to our music. You listen to rap music. A lot of the rap music today, they're perpetuating, drug abuse, pill popping,
Bitches, hoes.
right, misogynistic, lyrics and stuff like that. But yet, for anything, clean up our own house before we go and start pointing out the finger.
But when Kanye comes out with a Christian album,
No one
they're
buys
not
it.
playing that.
No one's playing.
Nah,
it.
they ain't
No one's
putting nothing
playing
out there.
On God, which I think that's one of the dopest songs out. On God,
Look,
Kanye's the man.
man, you ain't gotta tell me twice.
Yeah, Kanye's man. But going back to what I was saying about what they're doing today, you go in Africa. What was it in? I think it's Zimbabwe.
I know you're not asking.
There
me.
is
I have no idea.
in Zimbabwe. There is homosexuality images on
not
TV.
happening.
Not
Not
happening.
happening.
Not happening.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
You are gay.
Right. So we got to keep that same
That was a great
energy across
interview.
the board. There is, I'm not gonna lie, there is definitely an agenda within
Pushed by America.
yes,
Because
within,
they're going into Africa and saying that if you don't take upon these moral values, we will not invest our money. And they're sitting there looking at us, Africa's looking at us and saying, China's going to invest in our infrastructure and they don't require us to do any of this nonsense.
Mhm.
We're going to go ahead and go this route. And that's what we're missing in the grand scheme of things. That we could talk about this stuff all freaking night. Obviously,
Okay.
it is
Talking about
very
the whole homosexuality.
Yeah, yeah.
view
We
of
can
it
talk about
in
that.
Africa.
Yeah.
So I have a very good friend who used to live in Syracuse. Actually, used to write for my paper in Syracuse. He's from Ghana, and he moved back to Ghana. And he actually contacted me the other day and said, "Hey, I want to,
he went from New York to Ghana.
Yes, so he lives there now.
Good for
But
him.
his family's from there.
Yeah.
And was talking about the very same thing about how homosexuality is viewed there in
Yeah.
Ghana and other African countries.
Was he talking about that
versus-
on your
so he wants to write about it and
Okay.
write about different things. I told him, I said, yeah, embrace that. So he actually sent me an article the other day and talking about when Kamala Harris, went over there and pushing, certain agendas
Yep.
and how she was viewed
Yeah.
by the society there, very different. So that's going to be really interesting, to look at
Because other countries are literally going in there saying, we don't require you to be okay with your boys chopping off body figures and taking freaking perfectly fine woman parts off and adding parts on. We just want to build roads and bridges here. And that obviously attracts in a country where they don't have very much investment in certain infrastructure. I have no idea what country, because if Africa's a huge freaking continent,
No, it's
and there's plenty of infrastructure in many cities. Okay,
Uganda's the one who did
we'll
it.
go with
That's
that.
the way. I
Sure.
think it was Uganda.
There's,
But they don't play with that over there.
but they don't play with that. They don't want none of that.
No.
They don't want none of that. They don't. And why should we infiltrate our beliefs on other countries? That's where I have a problem with America. Is hegemony, whatever the hell it's called, where we go into other areas and say, we will put our money here, we will invest here, we will send our products here, we will send our money here, as long as you agree with our beliefs. That's where I have a huge problem. And that's where America's going to lose, because Africa has literally said in the open that they're not going to accept the values that the Western culture has for them. And they're going to go ahead and take that money that China is looking to invest in their country, or I'm sorry, in their continent. They've said it multiple times. So we're going to lose Africa. And
We
Africa,
already lost Africa.
you think it's gone?
No, we've lost Africa. We just started to even try and invest in Africa.
What if we bring back, Michelle Obama and she runs and
we had Obama
2024.
who killed one of the best African leaders of all time over there in Libya. They don't care about Africa. Gaddafi. Yeah. We don't care about Africa over there.
No, we don't care about it. We don't care about
we missed
any
the
other country
opportunity.
unless we have.
We missed the opportunity to invest in that continent, and now we just left it to China to just pillage and put mad
Silk Road.
mad people
It's a
into
new Silk Road.
slavery. There's so many Africans over there mining for minerals in Africa. It's no longer about the blood diamonds like Sierra Leone anymore. That shit is over.
Another Kanye reference.
It's all about mining minerals for China.
Lithium,
anything.
rhodium.
And it's for this whole energy craze that our left, politicians are looking for. And I do believe deep down that the United States government is also investing in this along with China on the low, because we are the ones that are dependent on these minerals as well.
Right? We're highly dependent.
We're highly. If we're trying to go,
and they talked about it on Black Panther. Black Panther actually talked about it. How
vibranium is what they're after, right? So everything that we see within these Marvel comics, don't think that this is just movie and bullshit. No, this shit is a fact. They want to pillage all of the natural resources out of that wonderful, amazing, beautiful continent that all of humanity has come from. We all have a percentage of African within us, like whether
allegedly.
No, they ain't allegedly, especially Puerto Rican. But our country, we are part of the colonizers on top of what the UK and stuff was. So
I call myself a conquistador.
So you are a conspiracy theorist.
That's not a conspiracy. No, that's
damn! I'm about to say
that's a fact.
After all,
that's a fact. There ain't no conspiracy. That's conspiracy fact, bro.
I hear you.
Is there?
Now, you guys kept me here long enough.
Yeah, you said you were going to be here for 20 minutes.
It was only supposed to be like a 5 or 10 minutes.
No, you was here for the whole show. You didn't even know.
Yeah. But you see how it goes. I think that people are going to see. There's going to be a announcement, I think, coming out soon. We'll see that there's conversations. There's conversations being had.
Right.
Conversations being had.
You dragged me into it.
I think you were ready for it.
You should come back again. Obviously, you got a lot to say. Come back next time on the next Politically Correcting podcast. We didn't even talk about the Antifa guy.
We did not. What is that?
101st episode, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
coming up.
1010, the Matrix code.
Well, the part of the announcement tonight is that Politically Correct Podcast is going to have some type of, I don't want to say partnership, but a working relationship with Minority Reporter.
Yeah, so we've kind of decided to, kind of be a sponsor of sorts for the program, and
You can't
also,
go too far with these fucking opinions. You gotta tread lightly with these motherfuckers, boy. They want no backlash from the community. You got that sellout on that motherfucking show. And I'm telling you, fuck all y'all, because y'all don't know. Y'all don't know me like that. Fuck all y'all.
You want eyeballs and earballs? You got it.
you
comes.
see how hard this has been.
It's
That's what
good.
she said.
But you say though, you said you wanted
Everybody laughed at that
controversy.
one.
Right. So we got it.
It's
We got it now.
controversy. And I would say we are
I don't think it's controversy.
It is.
I don't think it is.
Controversy is just, heated conversation.
I don't think it's heated conversation either. We literally had to have a conversation for past 3 hours. I don't think it was
hopefully
heated.
we can come on from time to time and share about articles that we write about issues within the community.
I
add
think
a
we should
different,
also write our own version
perspective.
of your articles.
And if you'd like to, and yes, I would be open to that.
Great.
Because part of the thing with newspapers now is also trying to reach a younger audience. And really connect with younger readers. And
Is that why we wear the
audience.
Gucci hat?
There you go.
Next time
You
wear
almost got
Supreme.
me.
Wear
You're right,
Supreme
you're
hat.
right.
This
Yeah.
shirt is
Next
definitely
time.
not going to reach the demographic
that's not-
right here. It's
no,
not
I don't
gonna
know.
work.
Well, here's the thing. I
We the
did
people
not
ain't gonna happen.
expect to be on the. I don't know if this is TV or radio.
Oh, this is
All the
this
above,
is
all the above.
yes.
Right,
It-
exactly.
Every
internet.
I did not expect that, but
This is on
nonetheless,
YouTube,
it was cool.
Facebook.
But you were ready. I said, hey, how about you jump on the podcast and just, hey, have a conversation? And you're like, I can do it for a little bit. I got to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. 3 hours later.
We just canceled those plans.
3 hours later.
Right.
Cancel those plans.
But you
and
see
stood
how it
somebody
is.
up.
That's why my phone is blowing up.
It's
Good thing
blowing
I
up.
had it on
Well,
vibrate.
tell Shanique she needs to hold on. And she's going to be hearing a lot more of
You
us.
skip dinner?
Well, I had pizza and wings. So.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's right, you did.
Okay.
Wait, let me ask a
There's
question.
more.
What's your favorite? Well, not what's your favorite. What is your best West Indian dish that you can make?
Oh, I don't cook.
Oh, fuck.
Adam, man.
God.
Adam, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about,
What
King.
in the world?
That's what I'm talking about,
But
King.
listen here, I love me some jerk chicken.
That's
No,
what
no,
I'm
you
saying.
do. You just not cooking it.
That's right.
God
That's
damn.
right.
I was about to put in my order for some oxtails.
Exactly.
curry.
Cancel that.
That's right.
Oh, shit. But I know you got to go to. I know you got somebody that make it better than anybody else.
Yeah,
Well, he can't put that out there. They need to pay. They need to pay for that sponsorship. They need to pay for that
Right,
sponsorship.
Oh, man.
See, he's always trying to drag me into
Yeah,
I'm
something, right?
just, that's what I do.
He's the instigator. I'm over here
So
just trying to live life.
I'm always going to put the battery.
I'm just trying to live life over here.
Trying to get your attention over.
Or
We did that first.
Yeah.
Where were you been?
yeah, she was
What
outside.
part of the show you came
Yeah,
in
I did
on?
hear the freaking audience, the backseat driver back
You're
here.
over there, all late.
Shh, the
Oxtails is
colonizers over here.
Right.
Colonizer, exactly. Colonizer.
No, I really appreciate you coming. I appreciate the conversations we've had in regards to what we can do. I really truly believe that there is an opportunity in the city to bring about voices of different ideologies and different perspectives to say, look, you can believe what you want. We're going to provide you the information and you go ahead and just believe it.
Yeah.
Whatever side you want, at least you have both sides. And that's my big thing. You have both sides of the conversation. Believe what you want. And we're not going to freaking sit here and say that we're going to be enemies after a conversation, because as much as there has been both agreements and disagreements here, I guarantee there is not a single bit of animosity. There's not a single bit of freaking hatred. There's none of that. We're not going to cancel each other. We're not going to tell somebody to not listen to the other person. It's just simply having a conversation with another human being and saying, cool.
Right.
And that's healthy.
It is.
I
right.
think so.
Right. For example,
Too bad we
Just
don't have more of
my
that.
mom
Just like this is healthy right here.
My mom, she just sent me a message about ackee and saltfish, right?
Yeah.
I think that's disgusting, but she likes it. I'm like, I don't like that shit.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know what?
Man,
you know,
that's some-
I-
and
that's some
saltfish.
good stuff right
see
there.
some good
Yeah.
stuff. I think it's
And
disgusting.
you got to put some dumplings, some fried dumplings with that.
See,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
you don't make it.
Nah.
You like? You got to do. You just don't want to let me know. I'm like, yo, let me get in the put in the order, bro.
He got,
you gotta do something.
he got the cooks on deck.
Right.
Yeah, right, man. You just fall in line, man.
He's
See what's
like, he's
going
like, I
on
got
over here, Dave.
multiple real estates.
Yeah, right. I got multiple restaurants. I just go in and they got my food ready. God
That's what I'm
dang
talking about.
Y'all got jokes.
Nah, I appreciate you very much coming
you.
on and staying on.
Thank you.
Look, but this is what we do right here. We
This
keep
is
you
a
alive.
Tree,
we
that's
have
a
the conversation.
3-hour show. You got to go to work.
Initiation by fire.
Yeah, you
No,
like that?
you
That
gonna
was
get it
good.
around
That was
here.
good. I appreciate you coming on.
Got to go to work.
Thank you.
Boom o'clock.
Hey, man, got to go to work.
My sixth job.
6 job, man. That's color. That's
You gotta take
Living
that out
Color,
before you
yeah,
get out of
Living
here.
Color. Look that up. In Living
Thank you
Color.
very much. Dave McCleary, you're here from Minority Reporter. Thank you so much. We're going to have more for y'all when we finalize and we ink that deal.
Congratulations to you, man, on that on this show, bro. 100th episode, man. 100th episode. You leaving? You leave before we sign off? Damn.
He said, I'm out.
I'm out this month. I got shit to do.
How long is this show?
Is until once he say play that funky music.
Until the motherfucker
Until
gets
it
off
happen,
at least.
But I definitely want to say congratulations on the 100th episode.
Hey,
It definitely takes a lot of dedication to come to this motherfucker
hey.
every Wednesday, just about, you know what I mean, and create content that
Cost out of pocket.
yes,
Not ask you guys for a single dollar.
every single time I've came on here to talk my shit, it's been therapy, and I appreciate it, and I look forward to another 100 plus episodes
Ah, dude.
with your crazy fucking short Puerto Rican ass.
Why's it gotta be short? Why they gotta throw that in?
Because you said it
understand.
doesn't bother you, so I'm just
It
gonna
doesn't.
say it. You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
But either way, you may be short, but you got a fucking voice as loud as motherfucking. Keep fucking using it until you can't use that shit no more.
I appreciate it very much. And I
Feel
appreciate
me?
everyone out there that listens into this. We got Freedom Fox out here listening in as well. The amount of work that we have happening out there. I can't believe Austin brought that unicorn back.
Because it is the shit.
I didn't
It's the
was
100th.
that on
It's the
before?
100th
We
episode.
couldn't make it through the 100th episode
We
without
had
an
to bring it.
appearance from the unicorn.
Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I look. You say that it's therapeutic for you. This is absolutely therapeutic for me because it is a way for me to not have the mental capacity to be able to freaking breathe the next day, because I really kind of feel that as well. It really comes down to the fact that there's many people out there who feel the same way I feel every single day, where it's like, shit, am I the only one? Am I crazy? Is the new normal just, am I just the abnormal? And I promise you, based purely on the amount of conversations I've had off air, the amount of text messages, the amount of DMs, the amount of freaking conversations that I have with people that say, I'm afraid to even like your posts because someone's going to equate that to something else. I'm afraid to comment on things that I agree with because someone's going to try and cancel me. There is so much that's going out there in the world where people just can't have these types of conversations. And so they come to this podcast right here to listen to people who they wish they can go out there in the real world and have these types of conversations when they go to work, when they go to their business, when they go to church, whatever it may be. They feel as though this is their outlet. So as much as it's my outlet, trust me, I know this is an outlet for so many more out there who just want to feel normal again. And we are your normal. We are your freaking weekly dose of common sense for a reason. I say that for a reason because there is nowhere else you're getting the conversations that you heard, especially tonight, especially on the radio show today.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear the radio show today,
Check out the radio show.
yo,
we killing
we killed
the
it.
radio
Yo,
show.
we killing it.
Like we really
We're
sound like we
absolutely
know what we're
killing it.
doing.
Yo, I can't believe we haven't been canceled yet. But
no, they ain't gonna.
no, it ain't. No, we do our thing on a radio show for real. And there's been many times that people have been like, damn, that was good.
Yeah, and I will say this. Let's not forget about the people who tune in every fucking Wednesday, if we can ask you guys to do a huge favor from this, I mean, I'm not saying that you haven't done it before. Please share every fucking time that we either come on the radio or you see us on Facebook or YouTube. Share it with your people. Tell your friends that we're good. We're good at what we do. And you also, as the viewers, continue to contribute, talk your shit, because we're going to see your shit and we're going to repeat your shit and make you part of the show. And that's what makes us do what we do. So appreciate everybody that keeps tuning in and talking their shit too.
And the ones that send us different articles that honestly, I spend
Yeah.
every day looking at articles, and some of
Good.
y'all be sending me things. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell is this? Like things that I don't catch because, you know, your
I don't look
phone
at anything
knows.
anymore because I know that I'm gonna get fucking surprised with some shit.
He's
so
never.
I just don't
we
even look
literally-
at shit no more. I don't go fishing for anything because I fuck up the show. Be like, yo, did you see this? Did you see that?
Well, there's many times
So
when
just
you
be
say that,
stupid
I'm like,
now.
well, we're gonna talk about that. So
Yeah,
shit.
so I quit.
No,
Fuck it.
I appreciate.
I look for
everyone out there.
fluff now. I try to get fluff.
Tom
hey, there you go,
Morgan.
Tom.
I
Thank
know
you,
we're gonna
Tom.
talk. Hold on, Tom.
Oh, we know we got to get the fuck out, Tom. We already
We got
know.
evicted. We're getting evicted here,
Fucking treating us like we, you know,
like slaves.
word. Black Lives Matter, Tom.
And tan. I don't want to say brown. I hate the freaking term
I know
brown.
brown is really fucked up.
No, I think you're brown. You're not black.
No, I ain't black.
Right.
I am brown though.
Yeah.
A nice soft chocolate brown, tasty brown. Just saying.
I feel like you're like the Nestle brown. You're not the
Nestle?
good. You're not the Godiva.
I'm not Hershey.
You're not her. No,
I'm
you are Hershey.
I'm
That-
Hershey brown.
You're the played out version of brown.
chocolate. Played out. Love you too, Tom. Thank you very much. Yes, shout out to Tom for giving us
Tom.
the opportunity
For real.
to do this fucking
For
show
real.
in this place. I mean, without Tom and Chad and Kimberly, you know what I mean,
Absolutely.
setting this shit
Absolutely.
off, giving the voice to the city of Rochester, we cannot forget about them. And
The
you know, all the
opportunity that
stuff
they
they did.
provided us to be able to
hell
just sit here and talk our shit. And when we go through the bullshit, when the media goes against us, and they're like, we got their backs.
Yeah, man, because we was talking some shit about
We stay talking shit. That's all right. what we
busting
do.
nuts on people's faces, but I'm just saying. Let's not name no names.
We will not name names.
I
Well,
just said she had a mask on. That's all.
many facials are had in the city of Rochester. Many facials are had. But it doesn't end
we
here.
made gingers great again.
Great again. Be prepared for what is coming up next, because there's going to be a change of scenery. There's going to be a change of opportunity for more guests. I truly believe that the arrangement that we have been discussing with Minority Reporter will provide further success that we haven't even seen. We're going to be able to have the conversations with people that may normally not come on the podcast, I guess. People that provide, news to the city of Rochester that may have to come on and talk about it and defend themselves for what they're talking about. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to have this conversation and say, what do you mean by this?
Yeah.
Why did you say it this way? Was it really news or was it editorial? That was a big topic tonight.
Yeah,
but,
that was a big topic.
But again, I can't tell you guys enough how much I love you guys, because you provide me with the stamina and the freaking
Pause, bro. My gosh.
and the energy to come every single week with more information. And our radio show has more content that we don't even talk about on the podcast. So to provide this much content within just 3 episodes, really, per week, we're blowing everyone out the water, especially Lavelle. He loves blowing.
Whoa. Yeah, bubbles.
Austin, for the last time here at the Revere Realty location, and the tax opposer upstairs as well, Chad.
Chad Hummel.
Hit that funky music, brother.